Sports Radio 560 WQAM Miami Fort Lauderdale presents The Neil Rogers Show. To talk to Neil, call 567-0560 toll-free in Miami-Dade and Broward.
No.
Or pound 560 on your cell phone.
No.
The opinions of Neil, his guests, callers, or anyone else on the show do not necessarily reflect those of WQAM, Beasley Lead Acquisitions, or the Beasley Broadcast Group. Now, Neil Rogers on Sports Radio 560 QAM.
And now it's time for our long-distance dedication. It's from Josie, and he wants to hear Tie a Yellow Ribbon Around Hank Goldberg.
And you've been to several places for spring training, I know, but I remember, I go back a long way to when the Yankees first came down here, and they had trained all those years in St. Petersburg, and what a culture shock it was for them to leave St. Petersburg and come to Fort Lauderdale with it, which at that time was where spring break was happening, you know. In St. Petersburg, you know it was happening there, Will, because you've been to spring training in that city. There was nothing there, right?
Well, I was in Port Charlotte for 5 years.
When you were with did you ever go to St. Petersburg?
Nope.
For spring training, never did?
Nope. Okay. 9 years before that, I was in Arizona.
Yeah, right, with the Giants.
Yep.
Hey, how is it coming over to the American League? You looking forward to it?
I've been in the American League for 5 years now.
Yeah.
So I'm not unfamiliar with it. I'm looking forward to just starting with a new team here.
Choosing a doctor is difficult enough, but when you practice an alternative lifestyle, it becomes a major challenge. I know when I spread my cheeks for my quarterly physical, I want a physician who will be gentle and take his time probing my, well, you know. So if you want a doctor who is, well, let's say light in the loafers, you need to call 1-800-FIST-ME. I mean, who else will understand your fascination with Judy Garland? Really? Call today.
Okay. 10:02 at 560 WQAM. Happy Tuesday to you. Boy, this overhead sounds really strange today. Every day, everything's a little bit different. But I just discovered, since we're now like into our second week in these great new studios, which are original at best, you know, I mean, it's got new paint, new walls, and everything that's in it is basically a bunch of dreck. Even one of our salespeople is, several of our salespeople, including the one that's farting in people's faces. How'd you like to have a big fat guy, I don't want to mention rhymes with Jeff High, who like farts in people's faces and thinks that it's funny? Huh? Did you make that up just because you hate him like poison?
Why do you think we all hate him? Everyone hates him.
Because he's obnoxious, pally, and shifty, and dangerous.
He's perfect.
And overbearing, and full of crap. We don't like you, Jeff. Stay away. We can't stand you. We're nauseated by you, but the idea that, this guy weighs what, 700-800 pounds easy? The idea that he's farting in people's faces around a building brings back memory of that story you were telling about the tea room episode when we were still out on the second floor, thank God. Woo! Oh, my God. Talk about my cup runneth over with love. Woo! Yeah, it goes in there and somebody evidently had, stuffed the toilet with too much toilet paper, and, there it was, flooded, just jammed up. Jammed up and jelly tight. Wasn't that the name of the song? And and somebody, of course, is occupying the other stall. Well, I guess he had to go so bad. When you weigh 900 pounds, when you're full of it, you can't hold it in. What are you going to do? Huh? You're going to do. And he did. Oh, by the way, the good news is I don't have to buy Duff a Desk. Oh! Yeah, there you go. Just like the satellite dish that they got over there in the sports nerds on the other side of the hall there. See, the way it works here is this, is that we got a bunch of pussies around here who won't say anything. Not to the big cheese. They won't open up their mouth because they're all afraid for their job. So all the promises are made and nothing happens. Then I go on the air and I embarrass the guy with a bad haircut and the mono, which I sure as hell hope he stays out of here today with his mononucleosis. That's how dumb he is, okay? Our general manager is so stupid, he's got mono and he's walking around in the building yesterday, breathing on people. Exactly what we need, right?
No.
Is somebody with like a highly infectious, like if he walked in and said, my doctor said I got leprosy, but I don't feel that bad, so I came in today, Yeah. Let me reach out and touch someone. Absolutely unbelievable. So, the thing happened with the satellite dish. Remember, I was going to buy it. I was going to pay for it. And then all of a sudden, miraculously, one showed up there, and they stuck that in there. And now the same thing with Duff's desk. which I was going to pay for, from our friend Joe Rizzoli at
Roth
Office Supply, which I can never remember. Well, he don't look Jewish to me. And nevertheless, I was going to do that, and Duff is in here this morning, who is a nice guy, but the biggest wimp I've ever met. Maybe that's why. Does it start at the top and like kind of run down to the rest that rubs off? I've never worked with such a bunch of wimpy guys, and this is supposed to be the macho sports station. They're all a bunch of pussies. But like we had to get the water thing in there from our friend. Hey, Culligan, man, we had to get that thing in there because they're terrified to go down the hall to the water Nazi because she'll bitch him out, because she's so goddamn important. And other thing is, all of a sudden, oh yeah, Greg decided he's ordered a desk for Duff. It's on the way, huh? He had ordered a desk for Duff like my name is Elmer Fudd, okay? But now that I've embarrassed him into it again, it's one thing to be cheap. It's another thing to be niggardly. And Greg, you and your Beasley boys, the guys that sleep in the dumpster overnight, you are the most niggardly people in the history of this business. And I'll give you an example. Now remember we moved into these great new studios a week ago yesterday, and the deal was, now instead of that one crappy old cart machine that we had downstairs, which worked okay, by the way, finally, after they got rid of that other piece of crap, we had one. And how many carts do we play? Not too many. They're obsolete pretty much. Now we got a triple decker. All right. Only problem is, wait till you hear what it sounds like. How do you like that? And, of course, is it going to stop? Is it going to queue up?
No.
You'll see.
I'm dying over here.
Listen to that. Sounds like most of the commercials on this station. Like it's coming through 100 pounds of mush.
I'm dying over here.
And so this morning I'm sitting here fiddling with these things, wondering what the hell is going on, because I had some old jingles I was going to play, and I realized these carts are old, so I thought maybe it was the cart. Then I try another cart, and it also sounds like crap. That Dragnet thing's going to run through, by the way. It's still running. Of course, it's on about a 2.5-minute cart. It's an old Roger Magdalene thing. And by the way, Henry Barrow and Roger are off on WAXY. I got a WAXY spy report. See? How do you like that? See that? Yeah, it won't. Well, is it going to stop?
No.
That would run forever.
Good timing, though.
Yeah, it was good. I'll give you a better one. I'll give you a real good one, okay? In fact, we can just put this in here and let it run all day.
Shut up, goddammit.
Yeah, in cart machine number 2. And he'll just
Shut up, goddammit.
It'll just go like an endless loop all day. Mad Dog going, all right. Come on. One more time for the West Coast. Come on, Jim. Mad Dog. One more time.
Shut up, goddammit.
Thank you. So there isn't one of these three. Remember you said 2 out of the 3 work? All I can say is wrong. None of them work. So this morning I look in the machines where you stick the carts in, and I look at the heads. The heads are all scratched up and worn out. You know something? They must have found this cart deck in the same dumpster that they sleep in, the Beasleys. In my lifetime, I've worked in about 6 million radio stations over the last 2,000 years. I've never seen a cart deck or a cart machine that had heads that were so, it's like somebody took a goddamn sledgehammer. Like OJ, couldn't find anybody else to slice, so he just took his wrath and anger out on the heads on his cart machine. He's used to slicing up heads, so he figured, why the hell not? I mean, if you looked at these, you'd puke. And if you think I'm exaggerating about how cheap this outfit is, then we get a bill this morning from DirecTV. This is the best. And it wouldn't bother me except that it's in my name, although it's in Neil Rogers, which there ain't no such real person, but nevertheless. Past due notice. How do you like the way it's in big letters, past due, from DirecTV? We got our own satellite dish, we got our own TV, we got our own VCR inside the TV, thanks to Jeff Cohen and thanks to our friends at
Digital World Satellite. That's for them. We love them. But we got, so what do we get? What do we pay for? We pay for basic. The bare minimum.
The bare minimum. And that's what they're paying. Do we have like the extra sports packages?
No.
Do we have like any option packages?
No.
Any movie things?
No.
No, nothing. Just a basic, bare bones deal you get. So here's a bill from DirecTV, due immediately, past due, $82.90. Your account is past due. Please send payment to me, mail to us, which they're supposed to be paying them back there. Do they pay their bills in this joint?
No.
No. And it's just amazing. It's niggardly. That guy up there in D.C., when that episode happened a few weeks ago, he must have been thinking about this place, because it's one thing to be cheap. Everybody out there knows people who are cheap. These people are way beyond cheap. These people are cheap to the point of absurdity, of being obnoxiously cheap. And they're not even, all the old stereotypes. Here's a goy that's this cheap, okay? The Beasleys, they're all goyim. All I can say to that is,
Oi!
10 minutes after 10 at your cheap station, 560 QAM. By the way, really enjoyed Hank out there at that ball game yesterday. That was quite an experience.
Toby, I fucked him up!
Goodbye, Phil Hartman. When did you in? And you were a real good guy that had so much more to give. But you married a psychotic bitch. Her trigger finger got an itch. But the good news is that she blew herself away, 'cause everybody knows that in L.A. they let murderers walk every day. And now the laughter has died thanks to your psycho bitch wife, who had a stupid name like Rin. And news radio was a lame show except that you were there. And some characters from the Simpsons that lost their voice. It's not for that bitch your life would have lasted long, but she left you no choice. Goodbye, Troy McClure, that you may know from such films as I married an ex-murderer, mom has a gun, and honey, I just blew your head off. Now Lionel Hutz can't get Bryn off.
Shut up, goddammit!
He said anyway, Saturday night has fallen further in decay, since that's the reason you left anyway. And it sucks that you died 'cause of your psychotic wife with that stupid name like Chris. And the Simpsons will never be the same again.
No.
And assholes like your testing preacher thoughts on right. It's a good thing she's dead, 'cause now they can't defend that bitch you had for a while.
See ya, Phil. 10:17 at 560 WQAM. Happy Tuesday to you. Oh, I got a whole new outlook on life today. By the way, on my home scale this morning, I hate this scale, by the way. You know what the problem is? No, seriously, when I take my vitamins and my medication, all my crap in the morning, I drink a lot of water. Well, of course, if you're like fat all your life, you learn the little tricks of the trade. You don't get on the scale after you've imbibed anything. You understand what I'm saying? You pee your brains out, then you get on the scale and you say, yeah! 199 on the real scale, not the make-believe scale this morning, but on the real, because I have two side by side, depending on which mood I'm in. And lately I haven't been in the mood for the real scale. 199 on the real scale. That's the first time I've slipped under 200 in a long time. And all you sales assholes out there, don't be bringing any food in here, okay? Under penalty of Phil Hartman disease. Getting sick and tired of making myself sick and tired from a bunch of sales holes that want to keep force feeding. And I love my friends at Ben & Jerry's, but stay the hell away. Oh, I want to say hi to Deborah and my good buddy Frankie over there at Publix. You know, it's embarrassing. I go to Publix last night to pick up a few things, and I'm online there. Why is it in Florida we say online? Is that a Jew thing, online?
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so I'm standing in line. And there are like some other people in front of me who are also listeners of mine. They nod and whatever. And the girl, Deborah was her name. I made special notice. I said, I'm going to mention you on the air tomorrow, Deborah. You're a nice young girl, but oh, yeah, where do I know you from? And in the meantime, these other people have got their groceries going, and she's like not paying an awful lot of attention to cashing them out. And I'm starting to feel like guilty, like, stop talking to me, Deborah. And I'm saying like some inane things to her, like whammy sucks, and I was embarrassed to be on there, and I'm on the radio about, what? And I said, you don't listen to AM, do you? See, girls especially, women in general, but young women don't listen to AM radio.
No.
In fact, most people don't listen to AM radio.
No.
Nobody with a brain listens to AM radio.
No.
Except to this show. And why did they send Hank up there yesterday to that ball game? He had to schlep all the way up there to Vieira, which is somewhere in Yennemsveld. And they send him up there, and there's a ball game, a Marlin game on in the background that nobody cares about, and every now and then you hear, and I realize the final score was like 100-99 or something like that, but nobody cares. And every now and then Hank would say, oh, gee, just fumble the ball in center field. That's going to be a two-base area. And then we'd go back to whatever he was talking about. I mean, What's the point? Why do they go through? There is more make busy kind of stuff. You know what I'm talking about? That goes on here. And, of course, the more of that crap you do, the more likelihood that you're going to have all kinds of technical disasters and dead air and people getting cut off in the middle of a show, which we have on a regular basis here, because they're always trying to do stuff that really, for the most part, isn't necessary.
All of these things.
That's right. I mean, they have enough trouble just putting a cart machine in here that works. That one didn't sound too bad, did it? Not too good. Well, it'll run through anyway. That's got no luck. Oh, God. So anyway, Deborah, and she's going on, and then of course she finally says, well, I listen to FM, I listen to Howard Stern. And my buddy Frankie, who came rushing over, of course, because he wanted to, ingratiate himself. You're a good guy, Frankie. Do something about those zits. But, and take my groceries out for me. He got like kind of a sour look on his face when she, Deborah, I'm not really interested, okay, in Howard Stern. I'm not interested. She had seen me evidently on Whammy somewhere along the line and made such a big to-do about it. And these poor other people, I'm thinking, just cash them out, put their stuff, get this stuff and get them out of here. And stop making them feel, because I'm the one that looks like the asshole because she's making a big song that ends about me. By the way, speaking of Publix last night, I found a great product. And, you people out there in the audience, talk about letting us down. Now, I realized that listening to Hank yesterday, when Hank starts begging for calls, is there anybody interested in anything he's going on? Then I know it's just the audience has died, and we'll have to wait for a rebirth someday if it ever happens. I sat here for an hour this morning. I saw 2 lines light up on for the morning guys. So the phone is dead. We got one on there now. They can wait or not. I don't care. But you've let us down because, first of all, if you're going to try to lose weight on the Atkins, every time somebody finds a great product that's got almost no carbs, we ought to be hearing about it. The most important thing I should have heard about is the MTV summer break thing. They were talking about it on the morning show this morning. I'm driving in, and they were talking about summer break on MTV. Nobody told me anything about that until now. So now this morning I'm sitting here, and I'm channel surfing all over the goddamn place. Is it on today?
No.
I don't see it. Did I say summer break? Spring break. On MTV, where they have all these basically naked young college students running around, and in some cases actually naked with like shaving cream on, right?
Or they checkerboard out the
Yeah, but I hear in some of the scenes they were like actually running around like basically naked as a jay, but with a little shaving cream on their whatever parts. Huh? Now, of all people in the world that want to see that, do I want to see that? Yeah. F&A, baby. No spy reports on that. But I found a great product at Publix yesterday. For those people who are like on the Atkins already or any of those diets, counting carbohydrates, which makes all the sense in the world. Don't be counting no fat grams or calories because that's a bunch of bull crap. T. Marzetti's salad dressings. That's the name of it. There's a whole line of them. Now, I don't know how many carbs are in the other ones because I like blue cheese myself. T. Marzetti's chunky blue cheese. It is so delicious you'll be quelling from it. 2 tablespoons, 1 gram of carbohydrate. Oh! 2 tablespoons, 1 gram. How do you like that? And it is great. It is unbelievable. It's not watery like there's some other ones that are like almost no, well, this has almost none. But it's like got real big chunks of blue cheese in there. It's delicious. For those of you who like big chunks, man, is that good stuff. T. Marzetti's chunky blue cheese salad dressing. I will admit, I actually stuck my finger in the thing and ate a little bit out of it. Not in the store at home. I'm not one of those slobs that eat stuff in the store, which you all see that all the time, by the way. Well, you've never seen that?
Oh, yeah.
Trailer trash.
Sure.
Trailer trash. They open stuff up, and their kids are eating stuff, and they got the empty candy wrappers. If they're honest, which usually they're not, they got the empty candy wrappers in the shopping cart, and they just stick those on the counter with the other groceries, with their KY jelly and whatever else they got. Speaking of KY jelly, by the way, and this is another one of these things that just makes my blood boil. I'm so sick and tired of hearing this, and I'm sick and tired of people who admire scumbags. And this radio station, by the way, is basically 20 hours a day a scumbag ass-licking station. And by the way, Joe DiMaggio was an asshole. Are you aware of the fact? I thought somebody made that up, right there when he died a couple of weeks ago, that business about after he retired, every event, every ball game, every event that he ever went to, when they announced, a bunch of celebrities, the mayor, this former player, he insisted that he had to be announced last, and he had to be announced as the greatest living baseball player in history. The greatest living baseball. Huh? That was part of the deal, or he wouldn't show up. And he was supposed to be humble Joe. He had an ego bigger than his, that's what Marilyn said. That's why she never had the big with Joe, the big O with Joe. I'm telling you. You remember that thing I read on the air the other day? It must have been in Newsweek. It must have been true, right? So he was, in a way, kind of an asshole. I'm not putting him in a league with these other people. I don't think he ran around impregnating women. Of course, he was an Italian guy. Well, it must be a cultural thing. Huh? Because now the new deal is that Gary Sheffield is accused, it's alleged, to be a daddy again. And I'm reading the article here about this Miramar woman, Wandra Carey. A languages teacher in Miami-Dade Elementary School has filed a paternity suit against the multimillionaire ball player, Gary Sheffield. He's an asshole. We know that. The 38-year-old Carey alleges that she and Sheffield, 31, had an affair last spring. They broke up when she got pregnant, Carey claims, just before Sheff was traded to the Dodgers. And it goes on about this and about that, and he don't want to care about her, and you don't care about the kid, and you don't want to support it. He's thought to have made, by the way, $17.5 million last year. Carey makes $2,862.16 a month. Process servers handed Sheffield the lawsuit when the Dodgers played the Orioles at Fort Lauderdale Stadium on March 8th. He has until this weekend to respond. And I'm reading this stuff, and of course it's kind of like her word against his until you get to the last paragraph of Jose Lambeat, the South Florida Insider, his column in the Sun Sentinel. And then when you get to this, you start believing her word because it says, if Garrett is Sheff's kid, Sheff. I love the way we have to, Sheff, because he's a jock. Like, Steve Shapiro, Shappy. Hey, Shappy, how you doing, Shappy? They all got, it's another fag thing, Slap each other on the old,
rectum.
Yeah, and hold hands. If Garrett is Sheff's kid, he would be Sheff's fourth child with 4 different women. Oh! Trying to catch up to that Evander Holyfield. Oh! Yeah, baby. None of whom he's married to. Oh! Let's hear it for Gary F. and Sheffield. Oh! He's spreading the seed, baby. Oh! He's planting it.
Squirt,
from coast to coast. The guy with the most.
Squirt.
It's a cultural thing. Huh? That's our poll question today is, how come so many Schwarzers are making babies that they're not married to the mother? Huh? Which is only half a word in Detroit. Mother. That's our poll question. I'm serious. I'm sick and tired of it, man. I'm sick and tired of people making millions of dollars for being scumbags, whether it's Mike Tyson, who, by the way, has got to spend at least another month in jail. Thank God for that. Tired of it. And I'm tired of you assholes out there who suck up and pay money to subsidize this crap. In fact, what we ought to have them start doing is sending money to all these mothers. Instead of sending the money on the pay-per-view for those bogus fights, like with Holyfield, that bogus fight that he was in, send the money to all these mothers that are trying to support these kids with no daddy running around.
You're a bastard.
Come on, everybody.
Yo, look here, man.
We gonna play a game.
Say what?
We be flipping scripts around,
What's that now?
and Ebonics be the name.
Yo, what you talking about?
You take a funky dope word
Like, boy.
and bust some skills to make it rhyme.
Got a bust of skills?
Check out what I've been kicking.
What you talking about?
You have it down in no time.
Show up.
Geezer. Geezer. Let me do homie. Homie. Yo, this be Anthony.
All right.
Anthony. Who that hoe?
Oh!
You be boning. Now try your luck with fuck.
Oh!
Buck.
It's a cultural thing, baby. That's what it is. Just plant that seed and don't take care of the weeds. Just haul at it. That's it. Seriously, how can you admire, how can you respect scum? I mean, we're talking to scum of the earth. It's like putting a pig in a mink coat. That's what it reminds me of. It's still a pig. And all the excuses that people make. Here's somebody that's making $17 million last year, and he's running around making babies, okay? Oh, but it's a cultural thing, Right. I want to hear one goddamn excuse from somebody in this audience of all this irresponsibility. Maybe they all want to be on a Jerry Springer show. Maybe that's what it's all about. Not just trailer trash. We got more goddamn trash running around here. No wonder we got all them dumpsters popping up everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's another big goddamn dumpster. And usually you see one of the Beasley's head crawling over the top. So anyway, I'm a little spy report on WAXY this morning. Did I hear Henry Bear?
Oh!
No. Or Roger Maggot? No, didn't hear either one of them. Because I guess Henry Barrow has just retired. In spite of those big numbers that they had on there that Mark Benson was telling us about. Maybe that's what put them over the edge, you know, when I read those numbers on the air last Friday. Said, oh, I guess we got nobody listening. Kind of like us here on QAM. So they got a kid, and I do mean kid. They must have got this kid like out of elementary school somewhere, you know, radio wannabe. Oh, those of us who wanted to be in this business when we were kids, we used to sit and, you know, announce ball games on watching the TV, and we'd sit and read news out of the newspaper, you know, like we were newscasters. And that's what Jose was doing this morning, pretending to be a newscaster. He made Lenny Martez sound like Walter Cronkite. Seriously. He made Geldy sound like Westbrook Van Voorhees, like Edward R. Murrow. That's what he made Geldy sound like. And then he's going on, and bumbling and fumbling, can't get 5 words straight. And he goes on about the American dollar was strong against the euro, up against the euro yesterday, but down against the Japanese yen. And when he said Japanese yen, I just about dropped a load in my pants, in my pantalones. The Japanese yen. I had a yen that just put my fist right through that speaker, you know. But hey, it's WAXY, baby. They got some nice jingles on there, though. That's why I was jingle oriented this morning, because I thought, well, I heard they got some old, which are the original WAXY jingles, I guess, from the old WAXY FM. Does anybody remember that, those days?
No.
No, when Ricky Ticky was on air and the Budell. Remember WAXY? When it was an oldie, when it was like on FM and like a real radio station? See, that's criminal. They should never allow that to be done. I'm not saying that was a great station, but it was a pretty good station. They played pretty good music. In spite of Rick Shaw and that stale, ugly, smelly cap. And then they let them take those letters and put it on an AM station as Jefferson Pilot, which is the worst piece of garbage. And by the way, speaking of bad stuff, because I'm desperate in the morning, and I got my beautiful new car, by the way. Wait till you see that. Huh? By the way, Greg Nelson is God at Lou Backroad. There is I'm always talking about how most salespeople are assholes. There's a sales guy they should make an award to. He's a great guy. I was there like 35 minutes yesterday. Bingo, bada beep, bada boop, sign this. Here you go. Here's the keys. Have a nice life. What a great guy. At Lou Backroad Chevrolet up in Pompano Beach. Greg Nelson for president. Oh! Good guy. What was I just saying before I interrupted myself? See, I got so much.
Desperate in the morning.
I am desperate in the morning, and desperate at night, and desperate in the afternoon. No, seriously. There's just nothing to listen to. And am I going to listen to these guys? They're good guys. At least 2 of them anyway in our morning show. Am I going to listen to that?
No.
Of course not. Not interested in hearing about how Robbie Niedermeyer is banging Nikki and this one. I don't care. It's old news, okay? It's boring. I want to see. Even Greg Reed just came in here with his mononucleosis breathing on me to tell me that he saw Sunday the thing on MTV on spring break and the guys with their schlongs, swinging in a breeze with the shaving cream on it. Huh? Well, those things, when you're naked, they don't just stay like stationary unless you've got them like a tie down. Like a horse, you have a tie down. Unless you've got them like strapped to your thigh, they kind of tend to flop around a little bit with your movement, you know, if they're big enough. Mine, you'd never notice. It's kind of like stationary, like a button mushroom. But, and evidently we're talking college kids, you know what I'm saying? Right up my territory. Right in my, yeah. And then Deepo made some comment. I did hear that part. That's what I heard. That's why I got desperate. About some retard who was sitting in the audience at MTV, 50-year-old guy. What's wrong with that? What 50-year-old guys don't want to see a bunch of naked college students, female, male, maybe both, whatever? Maybe a dead 50-year-old guy. And how old are you, too, by the way, Defoe? What were you watching for? You old pervert? So I missed out on that. I'm really pissed off about it. I'm foaming at the mouth. I missed my chance, although it was during the break. When Greg Reed was in here, I should have put that in queue and played that. Said, here you go, Greg. And by the way, we handed him the direct TV bill. I said, hey, tell your redneck partners to pay their bills, asshole. Seriously. And now I got to go out. I don't have to go to Ruth Chris with Greg Reed for dinner because he's got mono. I'm not going to say, can you imagine sitting at a table with a whole family of people that's got mono? Imagine that? No. But Rimmer's taking us this weekend. And guess who's paying? I know. You don't believe it. Rimmer is paying for dinner this weekend. That's what he says. Told me that yesterday. Mark this down in your book, all you Panther people. Everybody connected with the organization. Rimmer promises to pay for dinner at Ruth's Chris this weekend. Now, see, probably what he did was he called the manager, that nice lady that loves me, and said, oh, it's a surprise for Neil Rogers. I'm bringing Neil Rogers this weekend. You remember Neil Rogers, Waiting for them to bring another one of those cards to the table that says, oh, it's always wonderful to have you. Please accept this meal. I want to make sure they don't bring one of those cards this weekend. I want Rimmer digging deep down into his pocket for all those stale, musty credit cards that haven't come out in years. Can you imagine what those things must have smelled like?
They stunk.
Yeah. You've heard of things being in mothballs. Jesus, God almighty. 21 before 11 at 560 WQAM. Maybe I'll even get a fax from Dr. Mark today. I had a message on my machine yesterday from him. I was too busy getting my new car.
I don't give a shit anymore.
We're looking at 10 inches. All right. You call that a penis?
Now he's going to court here in Indy, and the jury will give him a chance. But the only thing hung in this courtroom is the evidence in Tyson's pants. Is he built like the average Caucasian?
No.
Does he stand up real close in the can? Or like the African persuasion? Does he jump to avoid feeling bad? How long is Mike Tyson's long? How long is Mike Tyson's long? How long is this?
10:45 at 560. How long is Mike Tyson's sentence? That's all we want to know. Throw him in there and throw away the goddamn key, okay? And save all these idiots out there, these morons, their 50 or 60 or 70 bucks that they keep paying for their fight of the month, their fixed fights, bum of the month club. And by the way, speaking of Evander Holy Moly, I'm the father of the country. I thought George Washington was the father of our country. Come to find out, it's guys with much darker complexions than George Washington. Evander Holyfield and Gary Sheffield, they're the fathers of our country. Investigators say $1 million bet on Holyfield before the fight. And by the way, that bitch, that judge, she couldn't see nothing. Yeah, she had an obstructed view seat. She couldn't see nothing. That's why she screwed it all up. A late flood of money, perhaps more than $1 million, was bet on Evander Holyfield, the father of our country, just before he stepped into the ring with Lennox Lewis in another phony fight, drawing the attention of investigators. The Nevada Gaming Control Board confirmed Monday that it's looking into the bets made at a number of Las Vegas sports books in the hours before the March 13th fight at Madison Square Garden. Almost all of the money ended up being refunded to bettors when the fight was ruled a draw. The probe by gambling regulators comes on top of investigations by Manhattan Grand Jury, a state Senate committee, and the New York State Athletic Commission. There you go. But you schmucks out there keep spending your hard-earned money so you can get sucked in again. You complain about, gee, we was robbed. It was, what a surprise, huh? It's like ordering a steak at Denny's. Gee, it sure wasn't what I expected. What do you think of people that go to Denny's and order a steak? It's like people that go into 7-Eleven to do their shopping. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you ever been in a convenience store? I don't see it very often, but once in a while, you'll go into a convenience store and get a soda or, whatever, candy bar, pack of faggots. And you go in there and you're standing at the counter and the person in front of you is shopping in a convenience store where everything is like at least 50% more than it is in a supermarket. Now that is a cultural thing. Here's Kendall. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Have you gotten a chance to read David J. Neal's article this morning in the Herald?
About what?
About the Panthers' playoff chances?
No.
The guy writes a huge article. It takes about half the page. And not once does he put the word Carolina in there.
Mm-hmm.
They have a better chance right now of catching Carolina than
Boston. They have a
Boston.
good chance. Carolina's tanking, just like my Leafs are doing. They got pounded last night by St. Louis. And they're only 5 points ahead of the Panthers, miraculously. That's what people ought to be talking about, is the Panthers. Actually, if Burry ever gets his ass back, they could wind up the third seed by winning the division.
They got 2 games in hand on Carolina.
Right, that's right. And Carolina's falling like a tumbling rock.
Exactly. And David J. Neal, not
well,
once.
What do you expect?
Not once.
In fact, the only thing I did see, I glanced in there to see if like any trades, because today is the trading deadline, by the way. Are we going to get any information about that here?
No.
About the last minute trades?
Not
3 o'clock is the trading deadline. In fact, I'm glad you mentioned I'm going to turn on ESPN News.
Yeah, today's going to be a huge day.
Yeah, it is, because there'll be 8 million trades.
The Islanders, everyone on their team's gone. Capitals.
Right.
Tampa.
Caps are out. They're out of the playoffs.
What do you think we'll do?
What do we think we'll do?
Yeah.
Nothing. Well, maybe now they're saying maybe we'll get Boris Mironov from Chicago.
Yeah,
wanted to make the deal with Edmonton. Let's get Boris Mironov, baby. He's a real defenseman. He's a good defenseman. He's a good offensive defenseman. There's somebody we could really use on this team.
That's very true.
Right.
But, I mean, everyone's still talking about, we can't catch Boston. Who cares? I mean, Boston's on a roll. They know that they're going to wrap
I mean, obviously, if you had your choice, you'd rather catch Carolina win the division, because then you got home advantage, you're number 3 seed.
Exactly. So. I don't know what standings David J. Neal's looking at.
Well, what do you expect? He's too busy worrying about his uniform. Have a great day, pal. Hockey call. How do you like that? You like that?
No.
Remember, it's taking us to dinner this weekend, by the way. Be sure and tell the whole team. They'll laugh. 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. We're talking today about people that make illegitimate babies by a whole bunch of different women. Does anybody care about that? No. Is it a cultural thing?
No.
Is that what it is? Is that the excuse? That we have all these goofballs that are making, and here's the best part. I can understand, some schmuck, some piece of crap, some uneducated, some idiotic piece of garbage who's making who maybe doesn't even have a job, who just, a horny bastard running around screwing everything with a dress on, and he just, leaving town and going, a drifter, a floater. But guys that have got money, guys that are multimillionaires, the Evander Holyfields and Gary Sheffields of this world, that are running around impregnating women like this is some kind of a cultural thing? Like we're supposed to be reproducing like cockroaches? Here's a mobile in Deerfield Beach. Hello.
Hey, Neil. How you doing?
Okay.
I want to just change shifts a little bit.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I want to just...
I've been talking about very important stuff here for 15 minutes. See, this goes right in line with what I'm talking about. I'm doing a show here. Now, what do you want to talk about?
Okay, I just want to mention something in reference to...
I got this other guy. I mean, he's a good guy, but nobody cares about hockey in this town. They don't know anything about... they don't know Boris Mironov or Boris Karloff.
Yeah, I hear you. Oh, by the way,
from Dmitry Kristich.
Congratulations on your new car.
Thanks.
What type of car did you get?
What do you mean, what type of car did I get?
Well, what type of car did you buy?
What do you think I bought?
A Vet?
Of course.
Oh, good. So you're a new one. Great.
Okay, now what did you want to talk about? I'll see if this is...
Okay, let me ask
this whole thing with the phone this week on this... This is the week that the phone just died on QAM, on every show, every year, from pillar to post.
Really?
And I think you may be adding another... But we'll see. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Go ahead.
Okay. Basically, when you purchase a new car, they give you, all the information as far as warranties, everything else, and they suggest that you do regular maintenance on it.
Yeah.
Now, I purchased a car probably about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I purchased a Hyundai. And,
a what?
A Hyundai.
Why did you do that?
I don't know why I did that.
Out of your mind?
I guess I must
That's
anyway.
a baby car. That's a car for children, for like 10-year-old kids.
Yeah,
that's like a learner's car.
I hear you. But
like
that was all I could...
teething car.
I hear you. But anyways, my point is this, is how they tell you that you need to do regular maintenance or like come in for like a 20,000-mile check and this check and all this stuff. But the thing is, I'm looking at the prices here and I'm saying like for let's say a 27,000-mile check, they check, your oil, they check your tires, they check your brakes, they take your brake pads.
Oh, wait a minute, you tell me you're going to go 27,000 miles before you get the oil changed?
No. My point is this.
What is your point?
My point is that when you see the prices that they charge...
First of all, why don't you do like I do? Don't keep your car 20,000 miles. Only schleppers do that.
Okay, well, my car's nowhere near 20.
In fact, this car I just traded in had 13,000 miles. I said, that's an unlucky number. I'm trading the thing in.
Really?
That's right.
Well, but let me ask you this. Do you believe that, because say they turn around...
a little dirty.
When they say that, you need to do regular maintenance on it, and they want you to come back and bring it in. I mean, these maintenance checks that they do cost you anywhere from $200 and higher.
$200 to do what?
So
why don't you get the extended? Every dealer has got some kind of for a few bucks, and it almost makes no difference in your payment everywhere. They stick it right in your payment. For a few extra bucks, they do the extended maintenance thing, and you go in and all of that stuff is free. Why don't you do that?
Yeah, well, I didn't take any because I should have done that.
That's what you should have done. So get rid of that piece of crap and go get a real car and do it the right way. That's my advice to you, sir. Take it from a guy that knows, from a guy that buys a new car every few months when he's in the right mood, like yesterday. Let me say it again. Greg Nelson, there's a good guy. See, if I meet somebody in this town that knows what they're doing, that's a good person, that treats you right, I'll be the first one to come on here and say it. I can't help it that we have a lot of incompetent assholes around here, mostly in this business, by the way, but not exclusively. And by the way, don't buy this book. If you already did, I apologize. I'm not going to give you a refund. This 3-Month Fever book by Gary Indiana. I'm finished now. First 2/3 of the book, very well written, brilliantly written. There's a lot of really funny stuff, very provocative stuff. Great, okay? The last third of the book, it's kind of like that Dusty Springfield record. You know, remember I said they held a gun to her head and the band leader? And you got like with a stopwatch. You got to finish before your 2 minutes comes up, or you know. And so the song is like about 1:48. They made sure you can hear it during the song. They're speeding up and singing so fast, it's like they're on the helium. Well, they must have done the same with Gary Indiana because all of a sudden he starts writing, and of course once he gets to the part where everybody's just about dead except Cunanan, it's all and even before that part where they were like in David Madsen's apartment, it's all made up because there are no witnesses to any of it. So the whole last third of the book, with the exception of a couple of police reports, which are pretty boring, by the way, it's all made up. It's all his imagination. And very poorly, I mean, I've never read a book before where like 2/3 of it was so interesting and so fascinating, and so I really got into it. And then the last third was like, hey, this guy must have just had a brain fart. I said, okay, I'm done. And $25 for a book like this? $25 for a book that's 250 pages. Don't you think they ought to like have to charge you by the page? That's an awful lot of money for a book that's 2/3 of a book and is only 250 pages. But it does have the nude picture of Cunanan looking just like Sam the Sham. Haven't seen him lately, by the way.
Oh!
Thank God. Now, if we can just get rid of Greg Reed till he heals up with that mono. Seriously, isn't that irresponsible? If you have mononucleosis, should you be in the office running around exposing other people to a highly infectious disease, which, by the way, makes you really very sick? I had it once before in Kendall many years ago. I had moved. Every time I move, I get sick. And I'd just gone through a move and schlepping all kinds of stuff around, and I was like just dead on my ass. Had mono, which, by the way, they didn't diagnose in the Baptist hospital down there in Kendall. The hospital where the schmutz was falling out of the ceiling, out of the vents over my head. No, my chiropractor had to come in and say, oh, did you do a mono spot test? I said, no, I don't know. And they did that. Guess what? I had mono. Of course, being as macho as I am, I know all about that mono a mono stuff. Here's Miami. Hello. Miami.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi. I'm just calling, because I think it's just totally appalling. I'm a woman, and these guys...
Speak up. I can barely hear you.
I'm sorry. These guys who have these millions and
yes,
and can't pay, that's horrible.
Right. They ought to be in jail.
They should. And plus, Oprah...
In fact, I got a friend that works for child support in the state of Florida. I'm going to talk to him about Gary Sheffield, and we're going to nail his ass.
Good.
Right to the wall.
And Oprah also had a show about that. But I'm not blaming the woman, but some of these women are just having these one-night stands.
Yeah.
And they know these guys.
They're just baby-making machines.
Right.
Right.
So why would you even,
Why is it? I mean, I realize you sound like you may be a little dark-complected.
Yeah, I am.
Why is it so much goes on in the black community, if there is such a thing? Why is that? Why is it such a black thing?
I think it's the lower class.
Yeah.
Because I'm not, but I'm just going to emphasize that it's the lower class.
So in other words, even if a guy got $17 million from 1 year, he still can be lower class.
Yes.
Right. Like I said, a pig in a mink coat.
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent point. Okay, God bless you, sweetheart.
Okay, bye.
Thank God somebody cared. Somebody responded.
Oh!
Yeah. Leave it to a nice black lady there to respond to my plea about all this scum. And of course, it's the guys. The women don't admire any of these guys. It's the guys. It's a guy thing. It's a sports thing. Oh yeah, isn't he great? Like Ed Kaplan comes on his station and says he would pay the price of admission just go out to the ballpark and see Gary Sheffield play baseball. They could pay me $1,000. I would go if he was playing next door. If he was playing Tiddlywinks next door, and I wouldn't go. And that's what I have a great deal of problem with, even though I do like Ed Kaplan. He's a good guy. But maybe he's got a bet on a game. He figures Gary will hit one out of the ballpark and win him the bet. That must be it. Because Eddie couldn't possibly be that dumb that he admires scum and trash like Gary Sheffield that's running around making babies, impregnating women, and then just kind of like walking away. Because he only made $17.5 million last year.
Larry, get this. I was just in the men's room, and I had just finished, well, pleasuring myself, so to speak. So I'm cleaning up, and who walks in but Alicia Silverstone, followed by 6 supermodels. Well, as you can imagine, I was pretty drained, but Alicia tells me they're ready to go, and are looking for a guy man enough to take them all on. So I pop my Rollagra, instantly pop wood, and completely satisfy each one of them. There was no downtime, and I held out until all 6 of them were completely weak in the knees.
You want me to believe that Rollagra helped you pop wood that fast? I don't think so.
It's 11:03 at 560 WQAM. Happy Tuesday to you. I got 207 on here now. I got ESPN News, the ESPN News channel, so that in case there's any hockey trades, which I'm sure there'll be loads and loads and loads.
Squirt.
Between now and the deadline, 3 o'clock. We'll pass them along to you. Because, are we going to get any from the sports department?
No.
Well, let me ask you this, seriously. We're in this room, in these 2 rooms, and totally isolated from the rest of what's going on up here on this floor. What is happening, like in the control room? Is there just a pot open in the other room and there's nobody in there, is there?
Correct. No one in there, open pot.
Just an open pot. So if somebody should come along and go in there and just happen to hit like the wrong thing or like hit their elbow on something, we could like be off the air in a heartbeat. Like that. And are there people like doing stuff? Doing sports?
I think in the talk studio, they use that big table to clip out newspapers and stuff.
They're clipping out coupons?
The update guys and Hank's producers, do show prep in there and whatnot in the talk studio.
In other words, they're playing the gin rummy to see who wins the tickets that Sam's giving away, is that it?
Since there's a shortage of working telephones, I'm sure they use their hotline to
make dates.
Guests, make dates, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's people, milling around.
But what I'm saying is this, so in other words, if the Panthers made a big trade, or the Leafs, or some team that any of us might care about, and if something came over to SportsWire, it's unlikely that we would get it. Is that what you're trying to say?
Uh-huh.
Right.
We could make arrangements.
Well, I got ESPN News right here. As long as they still haven't shut our DirecTV off yet. They haven't shut it off yet, Greg. Get those cheap bastards over there in Naples to pay their bills. $82.90. We get a past due thing. There is no shame in this company, I'll tell you that. By the way, speaking of athletes that you admire so much, here's an article. You read it in the article about Jerry Sheffield was in the gossip column there on the local section. Now you turn to the Living Today, the TV section. Here's Stephanie Loudis, who's got to be some kind of like a 15-year-old intern that writes about TV for the Herald because they can't afford to. See, every other major market, so-called, they have a real person that writes about radio and a different real person that writes about TV also. Like real newspapers. Do we have a real newspaper here? No. Tom Jicka's got some silly article about satellite dish owners because he's all bent out of shape because he's got a big dish. So he writes it in the business section today. Which is, who cares? See, you got to do both, Tom. You got to get you a big dish and a small dish, too, like I do. Because the big dish, I hate to say it because I love my big dish, but it's becoming obsolete. I hate to say that, Tom.
He's stupid!
Well, what can I say? Calls flood WSCV following on-air rift over Orioles game. And speaking of ESPN, by the way, they're going to be televising that game in Cuba. Oh, no! They're not going to be. John Miller isn't going to be going down there, is he?
Uh-huh.
Oh, my God. John Miller and Joe Morgan, the dark-complected Joe Morgan, he's going down there too?
Yeah!
To televise that game with those communists? South Florida TV viewers, never shy, will write, call, or email local stations about reporter stories, their delivery, even their haircuts. And that goes on about, well, here's the thing about Marilyn Mitchell and some stupid diet story. See, I wouldn't email Marilyn Mitchell about a diet story. I'd email her about those eyes, she does not belong on the air unless she gets rid of those cat eyes, right? She's the freakiest looking, silliest looking thing I've ever seen in my life. She's even more cross-eyed than the bitch that used to do those infomercials. You know what I'm talking about? Man. So anyway, last week, viewers rallied in support of WSCV Channel 51's Marilis Llanos after deciding Florida Marlins pitcher Levon Hernandez had been rude to her. Llanos had asked the former World Series champ to comment on the controversy over the Baltimore Orioles' upcoming game in Cuba. When he ignored her, the two wound up in an angry exchange that the station aired on March 16. Boy, I wish I would have seen that. Man. What did Levon have to say about it?
That fucking bitch.
Hundreds of viewers called the station, most of them to complain about Hernandez's behavior, according to Channel 51, though some did defend Levon. And that's the end of that story, which I'm sure there's much more to it than that. Of course, nobody watches Channel 51, right? Except about 20 or 30 old spicks. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
In response to all the illegitimate kids, it's just...
What is that all about?
Well, it seems to me that it doesn't matter how rich you are, and even if you leave your environment, it doesn't mean that it's obvious that it doesn't change the individual.
You can take the scumbag out of the ghetto, but you can't take the scum out of the however that goes?
Yeah, that's the basic, that's how I believe it's happening. I mean, what other reason would there be?
I don't know.
I mean,
of course, we see this in Hollywood a lot, too. You know, this one is got a baby by that one. I mean, it's just unacceptable to me. I'm one of the biggest perverts that was ever born, but even me, I can't relate to this business of people running around just making babies and then just kind of walking away. Or like Jodie Foster, she's got a baby. Does it have a father?
No.
No. Do we know how she made the baby?
No.
No, but, there you go. Everybody's making babies.
And not only that, whatever happened to the thing of just taking responsibility for your actions,
right,
which of course goes thrown out the window. It's almost as if I've got the money, I might as well just do whatever it takes to do what I want to do.
And these asshole sports nerds and sports writers and sportscasters who continue adulating these people because they can hit a ball far or something like that. I think it's about time that some of them stood up and said, hey, guess what? Gary Sheffield's a scumbag, period. Screw him,
Not only that, on another subject, the media. I don't know if you've heard about the big, the horrendous crime that happened out at Yosemite National.
Yeah, of course.
Or Yellowstone.
Yeah, I read the paper.
Right. They had an interview with the law enforcement agents last night, and every time they would say, well, we can't divulge that.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the press conference.
Right, and, doesn't the media have a clue that when somebody says...
No, they don't care.
It's ridiculous.
It's like when somebody's son or daughter gets murdered, and they walk up to them and they stick the mic in their face, and, how do you feel now? What do they expect them to say? We're having a party, we're dancing, we're going to go out partying tonight? What do they expect? It's like the same. They kept asking the parents of the two, the bodies they found out there, the women. They're asking them, well, how are you holding up now? Well, what are they supposed to say? Oh, we're doing great. We'll get over this in a couple of days. We're going to go on with our lives. Well, what kind of a question is that? How are you holding up?
I could tell what my reaction would be.
Yeah.
I'd take them out. I'd do violence on them.
Right.
I mean, I would literally I would destroy everything in my
brain, and then I'd say, how are you holding up now?
With that, and the one question that really irked me was, why can't you tell us what the cause of death is? I don't want to know about the cause of death.
Right.
I know that the crime
and not only
committed.
that, but how many different times did he have to say it? I mean, again, they kept trying 15 different ways to make the guy answer the question, and he said, guess what? We're not answering that.
I know that the crime was committed. Fine. I found out that the crime was committed. Now get back to me when you catch the SOBs who did it.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't want to see pictures.
And they kept trying. Can't you release pictures?
Exactly.
And can't you give me an autopsy report?
The media is sick and needs help badly.
God bless you, sir.
Take care.
Thank God for us. Thank God for us Northern American people. Northern European. Whatever the hell we are. Are we North American? That's what I mean, once you get south of Texas, and even that ain't too good.
O'Neal, my queen. God.
Attention football fans. In the past, you've had the opportunity to show off your team spirit with Team Logo credit cards, Team Logo jewelry, and even Team Logo dinnerware. Well, you've got all that, and now you want to show that you're the ultimate football fan. So, for the rest of this NFL season, official NFL tattoo artists will be touring the country, looking for a few brave souls to have their favorite NFL team logo tattooed on their ass. Show it off in the locker room.
Wow, what a fan!
Or at work.
Pull up your pants, football freak.
Or for the hardcore NFL couples, your girlfriend can have your favorite team rival tattooed on her ass. That way, before the big game each year, you can do more than just say them. You can actually do it. NFL team logos. Are you a real fan? Then fill that blank fanny.
11:15 at 560 WQAM. Hank will be at the Lipton today. Are we going to hear the sounds of the tennis tournament going on in the background? Is that why we make these guys keep going out to these stupid events? Is that what it's all about? Like Hank having to schlep all the way up there to Vieira yesterday and then pretending he liked going up there with a stupid exhibition baseball game going on in the background. In the background! And now he's going to be up there for some stupid tennis tournament today at the Lipton. And then we got the Boog at 6 o'clock who's going to be eating for 4 hours on the air, and Ed Kaplan tonight, who's going to be raving about Gary Sheffield as the father of our country from 10 till the wee hours of the morning. Dennis Rodman, by the way, whistled for Kiss. That's right, technical foul on Dennis Rodman, that piece of crap. He found a new way to get a technical foul. He blew a kiss at the opposing bench, and the Lakers stayed unbeaten with him in the lineup as he finally came back from Vegas when he straightened out his personal problems at the Hard Rock Cafe. Rodman got his strange technical in the third period. After making a foul shot, he blew a kiss at the Mavericks bench. Referee Ken Maurer hit Rodman with a technical foul. Lakers coach Kurt Rambis was incredulous. How can he get a technical just for blowing a kiss? How do you like that? See, the games themselves are, for the most part, so boring now. All these events, all these things. So there has to be some kind of a sideshow. So that's what it's all about. Dennis with the hair, with the makeup, with a drag, or blowing a kiss. That's what it's all about. Lighthouse Point, hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Neil. How are you this morning?
Okay.
I have a little bit of a beef. I listen to you every day.
Yes.
And I've listened to you for several years. But I didn't stay up for the hockey game Sunday night. It was kind of late by the time it ended, and I had to go to bed around 10. So I put on the morning show on Monday morning to get the final result.
Uh-huh.
I hear it wasn't Geldy because I don't think he did the morning report, but it was some guy came on and he goes, the Panthers in a nice come-from-behind win with 4 fourth-quarter goals.
Yeah.
And I said, wait a second, I thought hockey was played in three
That's
periods.
Armando, what's his name? He's a
I
stick.
think it was Orlando Algieri or something
right,
like
he
that.
don't know nothing about hockey. What do you want?
So that wasn't bad. I called the station, and I said, how are you expecting people
But,
to learn to like...
Wait a minute. Why would you call the station about something? You know that there's nobody except me on the station that knows anything about hockey. Why would you call the station?
It bothered me.
Why?
Bothered me because...
Oh, get a life. Get out of here. Get a life. No, seriously, somebody says something like that. Don't you need a life? If you have time to call a radio station because somebody said something stupid like that, then you've got a problem, sir. You need psychiatric counseling. You need to get a search party to find you a life. In fact, we ought to make an announcement. We ought to have like a disclaimer. Other than Geldy, who sucks around with the team, and that fat Neil in midday, who's a hockey maven for 40 years, other than that, nobody on this station knows from that stuff, okay? That's all. This isn't a sports station. This is I don't know what it is. It's an ego trip for the boss, okay, who you think at least would get a haircut. Now that he's got all these games on there, we're getting U of M sports, we're getting I think we're going to have the soccer game, indoor arena football, we're getting the Matador, see if we can't keep them going. I mean, you name it, we're going to put it on the air. 25 hours a day. Bowling is going to be on the radio. Golf, we're going to be doing golf tournaments on the radio. Joe Costello is going to be doing, the Indy 500 on the radio. That's right. There it goes again. There it goes. Here he comes. There he goes. Yeah. But I mean, it disturbs me that, and the whole station, it started last week, it started tailing a little bit, I remember commenting on, and then this week it's like we ran into a brick wall. Like now I got 2 calls on there. I'm not going to let it disturb me because I realize that the people something's happened here in town. They're very busy. They're making out their taxes. They're all going to jail. Something's going on. I don't know. They're making illegitimate babies. I don't know what it is. I can live with it. I've lived with it 1,000,000 times in this town for 100 years. But here's the guy that not only did he take the trouble to call the station to complain that Armando made a mistake and said quarter instead of period, now he takes the trouble to call me to tell me about it. How do you like that? I mean, that's just incredible. I mean, you think that somebody important like maybe my doctor would call and give me some good information.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was fast.
Well, I'm not going to make somebody important like you wait.
No.
Maybe you'd be saving somebody's life out
Well,
there.
actually, I was just calling to tell George that almost everything's back in. Remember, when I was there on Friday, you told me to run every test that was appropriate. So, appropriate. And
I said every test that's ever been invented.
No, yeah, but I wouldn't do that to you. That'd be like ripping you off. And that I can do 1 million tests. So I showed you the whole compendium with like 4,000 tests in it.
Right.
That would be totally wrong.
So what happened?
Well, I thought the lupus test that you mentioned, not so much as lupus, but that it's an indicator for certain kinds of drug reactions. I went ahead and ran that.
Yeah.
And that came back negative. Not only do you not have lupus, you don't have a whole 90% of the usual kind of drug reactions. But, that looks at one branch of the immune system. And the immune system is almost as complicated as there are stars in the sky.
Yeah.
And I'm not claiming to have a 100% understanding of astronomy either. Anyway.
And what about that elevated protein?
Okay, well, that is almost done. That came back.
Now, what is that going to show?
Well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about, in fact, because, again, I can't tell you exactly what the charges are, and I know money's no limit or no object, but
no limit.
It's only fair to tell you I don't exactly know, and I can have Azalea call you back and let you know what it costs.
Yeah.
What happens is what they take the protein and then they fractionate it with some electrical method, and it shows peaks and curves, which the peaks and curves haven't come back yet, but you have what's called a polyclonal gamma elevation. It means
I beg your pardon?
Okay.
Do we have to dump that, George?
Some kind of inflammation, but by the time we're done sort of running it down, working it up, I'll have a better idea what it means, if anything.
Yeah.
Lastly,
inflammation of what?
Well, it doesn't tell you that. You can make inferences from it, but it doesn't tell you specifically what the inflammation is. Now, that could go along with your rash, but it's going to turn out, if I'm right, it's just going to turn out to be an indicator of the fact that the rash was inflammatory, and as opposed to a vasodilatory drug reaction from the Adalat. I'm sorry to blather.
Now you're starting to sound like that guy at the Cleveland Clinic.
Yeah, except that I know you follow me because I know that you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Listen, I want to tell you how sharp I'm getting, even though I still look like crap.
Yeah.
I am off of my glycase, the micronase. I'm off of it. 2 days now. My blood sugar was 100 this morning. Good. I'm eating almost no carbohydrates.
Good.
I'm doing so good, and I'm down on my real scale to 199. When I saw you last, I weighed 213 in your office.
Yep.
So I'm serious about this.
Right.
And number two, in fact, that's when I put you on, where the hell did I do with it? I got my Walgreens number here, George. And when I get done, I'm going to put Mark on hold because I'm going to need, see, the other doctor, which I don't want to rip him behind his back, but of course he's forgotten about me anyway because he's got important people like Pavel Bure to worry about. He puts me on 50 milligrams of hydrochlorothiazide. Is way,
I heard that.
Way too high.
That's the antique way of doing it.
I don't need to have a blood pressure of 78 over 52.
Yeah,
it's a little bit too low to make me happy, even though I do like it low. So I've been experimenting because I did read in the Merck manual, 12.5 they do make it. If you can get me a prescription for 12.5, then I won't have to keep chewing these things up and chopping them down. And my blood pressure is sensational. I've cut my low tension in less than half now than it was before. And for whatever reason, I guess because now I'm starting to eat right and I'm going to stop with all the bull crap.
Right.
It's amazing. And my goal is within 6 months to throw all the medicine out.
Well, I just have to repeat this. Every time I see you, I say the same thing. Remember, I've been telling you for years, your personal blood pressure control method, the drugs that you use, is very non-standard. Not only is Lotensin a rather unusual drug, but
let me ask you this, though, seriously, because you know that most people are so non-conscientious that they don't take their own, they don't even have one of those cups like I do and take their own blood pressure.
Right.
So you can imagine if my pressure is 78 over 54 and I'm not taking it.
It must have been if you had been taking it.
No, that's when I was taking the full 50 milligrams.
Okay.
And then I take at 3 o'clock another low tension, which I usually would do. I would pass out. I would faint.
Yeah.
Right?
Surprised you didn't spin out while you're driving.
But luckily, because I take it at that point, I say, well, I'm not going to. So in other words, what I've been telling you is true. I religiously, 3 times a day, take my blood pressure when I get up in the morning, 3 in the afternoon before I go to bed at night. And if I need to take any of the medication, I take it. And if not, I don't take it because what's the point of taking a pill when your pressure is 98 over 60?
Well, let me ask you a historical question. Is the other doctor, again, we're not knocking him because the antique
Sure you are.
No.
Knock away.
Antique doesn't mean bad.
I'm not important enough for them. I'm not a hockey player. You know, they only care about the big shots.
Well, remember, you had a lot to do with I know that you had a lot to do with putting hockey players on the map. But anyway, is he an older guy?
No.
Same age as me, more or less?
Younger.
Wow. So he must have gone to a different school. Because school of thought, that is.
And by the way, also, now that I've cut the HCT way down, I don't have to worry about the elevated blood sugars. I'm going to cut out the micronase, the glycinase, and I'm able to do that because, as you know, the HCT. So, I mean, how can you give 50 milligrams to a person that's diabetic?
Well, you can. You're supposed to
monitor it. But it's not right.
You're supposed to monitor it.
Not good.
Okay. Well, I'm not. You're the last guy I want to argue with. And that never gets me anywhere.
Yeah.
But I agree with you because if you start low, go slow is a general rule.
And what about this SED rate, this 11 on the SED rate? What
normal,
is that?
Forget it, normal. Less than 20 is negligible.
And then the bun, in the Merck manual, I looked this up on my very own, and you take in the HCT, also makes for elevated readings in the blood test.
Okay, wait. Let me explain that. Now, that's one of those problems. Look, you and I both know that if you sit with a book and you look at your results, you'll get 90% of it. But that's one of those little items that you probably wouldn't get without somebody giving you some perspective.
Right.
The BUN, what's really important isn't the BUN alone, blood urea nitrogen, or the creatinine, which is the real marker for kidney function.
Yeah.
What's important is the ratio between the two.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't really begin to change unless you get actually dehydrated or actually start to have some kidney damage. Yours was negligible. Yours was right. I wouldn't even worry about that in the slightest. Now, again, I'm not saying that because you say, well, I blow stuff off, I'm a minimalist, and do nothing. But yeah, I know how you feel about that, or at least what you say you feel about that. But sometimes you got to have the big picture, and that is that ratio was not important. You weren't even having any changes at all.
No,
so
the
really
ratio was normal. The ratio was fine.
Yeah, to make the whole thing start to change, you really got to force drug and dehydrate the patient, or give a kidney stone, or tie off the arteries, or something dramatic has to happen, and then you'll see a dramatic change over the span of a couple days. That's the context for when that information is useful. It's got to be dramatic. You're dramatic, but your kidneys are not.
Thank God.
That's like saying, I tell people all the time, your problem is common. I look at them and go, well, that doesn't mean you're common, but your problem is common.
Well, most of your patients are.
So everybody is. So am I.
Exactly.
So a big deal.
So I'm doing better, and again, thanks for coming up last Wednesday, because that
Well, I had a good time.
Without these numbers, I need, like most people, I need a good scare every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Not that these were that alarming or anything, but I need a good scare. And seeing the cholesterol was up, you can't keep screwing around. And by the way, the Atkins is great, but it doesn't mean you have to be keeping all that fatty meat all the time. That's not the way to go.
Yeah, lean food works very well too.
Exactly.
Tuna.
Okay, if you'll hang on, I'll give George has got my number for Walgreens. I need the 12.5 HCT.
Right.
And God bless you.
Tuna.
And thank you so much.
Bye.
Okay, he's on 7, wherever he's on. There you go. Neil with the doctor. That was great. See? Oh, I should have had him hold on for Greg's mono. That's what I should have done. Maybe he could have fixed you up, huh? Although he likes people that pay their bills. It's 11:28 at 560. What is that? Doug, the grease man, was on his knees, tears streaming Sunday morning at Springfield, Virginia church as he asked James Byrd Jr.'s sister to forgive his on-air remark about Byrd's dragging death. At least I feel I expressed my sorrow for what I said, Track told WJLA-TV. A church member said Track was received with love. He intends to disappear for a while, hope it all blows over and come back and say all those things again. How about we drag his ass behind a truck for a few hundred yards, huh?
There's no fact in the church.
Is your bank nickel and diming you to death? Just say F you. Does your bank change its name every 3 months? Just say F you. Does the teller ask for ID every time you want to cash a check? Just say F you. That's right, F you. The bank that knows where your business belongs. F you. Today, tomorrow, and always, F you. So if you're looking for good old-fashioned service, courtesy, and accuracy from your bank, well, F you. F you Bank, member of federally underwriting corporate codes.
Yeah, just like they did this Arab business guy the other day. What a story that was. He goes into his FU bank. He goes into the drive-thru to cash a $3,500 check, and all of a sudden they come from all over, and they're putting the handcuffs on him. You're under arrest. Why? None of your business. And the best part of the whole deal, not that he needs the money, because this guy's got some bucks, like most of those Arabs. He's got some serious bucks. He's suing their ass. Oh! Yeah. And by the way, the best part about my new car, see, the other car that I just traded, the red one, that was financed through, it was a lease car through FU Bank. Remember all the problems I had with them? That I nearly got a stroke dealing with them? That they kept losing checks and losing paperwork, and every time I talked to somebody up there, they didn't know their ass from their armpit? FU Bank, the same bank that arrested this guy the other day, mistaken identity, calls the cops, has this guy arrested because he looked like somebody that had been passing bad checks. And then they give the guy a $100 certificate for Publix, and he says, yeah, goes and gets his lawyer and sues their ass. I hope he gets $10 million from FU Bank. I took that payment book in there to Greg, to my buddy Greg Nelson at back row yesterday, and I said, here, I don't to have a bonfire, burn this out in the front there. Don't ever want to deal with these people again. They haven't got a clue what's going on up there. And they're, big institution up there. Yeah, they ought to be in an institution. Clueless. See, this is the kind of country this is now. You go to the bank to take some money out, you write a check. Not only do they have to have 18 different kinds of ID and check your shoe size and penis length, but also, hey, you're under arrest. Why? Well, none of your business. I hope he gets $50 million from FU Bank and sends us a check over here so we can pay our DirecTV bill. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. I'm sure a lot of you are, bored hearing Dr. Mark on here doing my personal life. But you know something? Too bad. That just goes with the territory, like I said. Getting the free meals, you know. You have to play the role of a big shot. You go into Publix, you know, you try to buy a couple of items, and here's poor Deborah there. Oh, my God, you're on TV. Yeah, right. Deborah, you're a sweet little girl, okay? You're nice. You're very nice, even if you do listen to Howard. A lot of my people listen to Howard. That's fine, even though, quite frankly, you know, I'm coming to work this morning, and I'm so desperate. This is the third time since he's been on this market I punched over to that station because, quite frankly, by the time I turn it on, if they just went to a commercial break, I'm back. I'm to work already by the time the break ends. I just don't have that kind of time. And they went through a thing about stuff on the Internet, about women peeing, you know, about guys watching women taking a leak. And it was about as funny as if I sat here and went, yeah, that's funnier, seriously, than what they were talking about. And after about 3 or 4 minutes, I just gave up. I mean, you know, he's doing great. He's legendary. He's got the hype machine behind him. Now, it just must not be for me, you know. I just don't get it, what the attraction was. But, Deborah, like I said, okay, take care of the paying customers, please. Even Frankie was getting embarrassed. A nice job, by the way. Frankie is not suspended in school this week. Oh! Mark that on your not yet. It's only a Tuesday. I'm telling you what, I'm a superstar in Publix. You know, I really am. I'm a legendary. If I would just hang out there all the time. Here's Kendall. Hello.
Neil, good morning.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
How you doing? Was it Holyfield that they said was the father of our country?
Yes.
I think maybe he's trying to father his own country is what it sounds like.
And now Gary Sheffield wants to be partners with him, I guess. He wants a little the action for himself. Gary Sheffield has got 4 kids by 4 different women, to none of whom he's married to. To none whom he's married.
That's really crazy. I don't understand where it starts, and I don't know where it's going to end is the damn problem. No idea. Anyway,
what does that mean? What do you mean where it starts? It starts with people admiring scum and people who are these sports nerds pretending that these people, just because they can hit a ball or do some athletic thing, that these are wonderful people, that these are people that kids ought to be admiring and buying baseball cards and crap from and getting their autograph, paying them for an autograph.
Well, I mean, where it started since the beginning. I mean, the very first, you know, one to go off and have all these legitimate kids and not, you know.
Started with all that begetting that went on in that good book, in that evil book, all the begetting that was going on, that pair on the ground.
Yeah, they were begetting it, all right.
Right.
Last night on one of those news shows, it's the one that Maria Shriver's on, I don't even remember what the name of it is. I just caught the tail end of a story. I found it was...
Did she finally get a chin or what?
She's quite a bizarre-looking woman,
yes.
I think. Anyway, they had...
Arnold said she gives good chin.
They had this story on about this really rare syndrome called alien hand syndrome, I think was the name of it. Have you ever heard of this stuff?
Alien hand syndrome?
Yeah, it's like where one hand just...
Better get the doctor back on the phone, sir. One hand what?
It's just
like
one
a claw?
hand has it has like a mind of its own.
Oh, like Michael Caine.
Yeah, it's like where...
What was the name of that movie? The Hand?
Right. Or actually what they think it is, it's just kind of like a theory that one side of your brain...
Remember that Guy de Maupassant novel, for those people who like their steak rare, the filleted hand?
Right, and where one side of your brain is at conflict with the other. And they actually had one guy on there, his hand tried to choke himself. And I mean,
he was trying to choke it with one hand, and the other hand was pulling it off.
That's right, and it wouldn't stop. It was just like it wouldn't give up the ghost, you know what I mean? But I sat back and I'm thinking about this, and I'm going, how many people out there right now are saying that it's not a syndrome, it's actually like the hand is possessed by a demon kind of thing.
Stuck and can't get off.
Yeah.
You know, and I was just just kind of thinking that...
It does sound like an act. Doesn't it sound like an act of the devil to you?
It does. Right now, I mean, there should have been a priest. There probably was some priest calling on the phone saying, I can cure that guy, I can cure him, you know, I've got the exorcism rights and all that kind of stuff. I just thought that was kind of bizarre.
Well, maybe we can get an exorcism on the air and cure everybody that's got that out there.
I'd love that.
The power of Christ compels you.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, and in
that'll
closing...
be tomorrow while we're smoking some of that ganja here on the air.
Right, in closing, I heard Rick and Suds this morning.
Yeah.
And
I touched over there for a few seconds too, but it just it didn't hold me for some reason.
Did you hear him talking about? Remember when I guess it was Phil's birthday a few
Once
years back?
they gave me my number, I just moved on to another station.
And they put the frozen cat in the refrigerator.
Right.
I thought that was great. It was kind of reminiscent of the old IOD days. It was kind of like a flashback kind of thing.
They did it again?
No, they just had talked about it.
I think what they ought to do is freeze Pete Bolger and throw his ass in the refrigerator. Well, I'll guarantee you there'll be more parties in this town. Oh! Have a great day, pal.
Thanks, Neil.
5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. No waiting week this week. All the shows on this station. Like I said yesterday, when Hank is desperate for calls, you know the rest of us forget it, because he gets calls, you know? Not good calls necessarily, he gets the calls. For the gamblers, the sports nerds, what is your opinion, you know? But it's just, you know, you guys have got something going on you won't let us in on. Maybe they taped that stuff off MTV, huh? The spring break stuff, with all those young, nubile bodies. Male, female, semi-reader, can't tell, but who cares? 20 till noon at 560 WQM. Let me tell you about a great place, Pizza Loft. By the way, I got a note this morning that said Jeff Cohen loves your talking about his wild sex life. Maybe he'll get laid even more, which I don't think is possible. Seriously, do you think that there's anybody getting as much action as he is? Is there anybody who looks like that's getting laid that much? I doubt it, because he don't look too good. Anyway, it's getting real close. It's that time of the year again. And once we get to, when is the Passover? Is it on your calendar? When does Pesach start? Is it a ways off?
Jimmy, won't you do this to me?
It's 11:45 at 560 WQM. We got Hank Goldberg from the Lipton. The Lipton. Just the sound of that. And I heard Depot bitching about the security guy over there, what an asshole he is at the end of their show this morning. The Lipton. Oh, it makes me nauseous. Yeah. The Lipton, the Honda, another hype job. By the way, you know, they had a thing on the news last night. Channel 4, I got a suggestion for you. Mind your own goddamn business. They're complaining about, you know, as you're driving on the interstate on the highways around town, in Dade County, they've got these posters, these like cloth, what do they call those things? You know, on the poles, on the light poles? You know, these like little banners on the sides promoting the Lipton or whatever is going on in town. They got some for Dania High and they desperately need it. The pari-mutuels are all on death's door, okay? And Channel 4 sticking their nose in there, bringing the attention of the state. You know, Governor Walker Lawton, they brought the fact that they had the Marlboro was advertising auto races or something. So Walker Lawton, who of course was a goody two-shoes, who ain't feeling too good anymore, he made sure that they stopped that. We don't want to be promoting cigarettes there on the banners, because little kids might be out there seeing those banners while they're driving up and down the highway, while they're driving their Hyundais up and down the highway. So now the new deal is Channel 4 got a hold of the right people in Tallahassee, and they're going to crack down on this thing and make sure. I mean, what's the big deal with that? To me, quite frankly, they look good. It actually looks like a place where there's some stuff going on for a change, instead of the usual sterile landscape that they must love over there at Channel 4. But we're working for you. We're working for you. Nobody's watching us, but we're working for you. And then Angela Ray still makes me sick to my stomach. She's going more and more into that silly goose routine, you know. She's always just cackling and laughing and puking. Got a murder story on here. She's laughing her ass off. And get that thing off your lip too, Angela, by the way. It looks like a goddamn herpy. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello?
Hey, Neil?
Yes, sir.
It's Jason. I called you before. My wife's the one who teaches Italian out at BCC Davie campus.
Yeah.
She's really disappointed you haven't come to class.
Come to class for what?
To learn Italian.
Why is that?
Well, because I know you want to learn Italian.
I got Dr. Jack as my Italian teacher. When I'm good and ready to resume with Dr. Jack, I'll let you know, you know.
Okay. Well, I'm calling about the professional deadbeat dads. I don't know if you ever got a chance to read the Sports Illustrated article last year about them.
Yeah.
If you want a real laugh about how many of them have fathered numerous kids in the same year with different wives. Sterling Sharp, Shannon Sharp, to name a few.
Black.
Three kids from three different women in the same year.
Yeah. Well, maybe it was in a family. Maybe it's a family thing.
Yeah, but did you know that Mark Messier also had a child out of wedlock?
White.
And he had a paternity suit involved in that as well.
Yeah. There's one.
So, I guess one or two hockey players.
Well, how many other white guys are doing this?
There was Larry Bird also, but that was somewhat of a different situation.
Larry Bird is reproducing?
Oh my God!
Well, oh my God!
His child was during his college years with his college sweetheart, but apparently he's never recognized her. So it happens occasionally.
Yeah.
So in other words,
we got two white guys and 500 black guys doing this.
That's true. But that's
no,
all I want.
Seriously, it's primarily a black thing, and you're not supposed to say that because people get all bent out of shape when you say those things.
Well,
I don't give a crap. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of pretending to admire people who are scum, who are trash.
You're right.
And whether it's Mark Messier or Sterling Sharp or Gary Sheffield, I say screw all of them.
In closing,
use protection. Yes?
In closing, may I call someone a douchebag?
Go ahead.
Danny, you're a douchebag.
Okay, Danny Bona douchebag. Okay, 567-0560 and pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Like I said, we got about 25,000 open lines there for you. See, this whole thing with the grease, man, it goes back again to depending on what part of the country you're in and which ethnic groups, just like the thing with the baseball game in Cuba. If we were living in Pittsburgh, God forbid, nobody would even be talking about that. Nobody cares about it. Whether the Orioles are playing in Cuba, in Tel Aviv, in Moscow, wherever the hell they're going, nobody cares. And that's why the grease man got fired. And as far as I'm concerned, and I'm no big fan of the grease man, I mean, he's okay. Another hype job as far as I'm concerned, but nevertheless, he's got some funny stuff. But he got screwed. Because in D.C., of course, they got a very... It's like that thing with the guy who said niggardly and gets fired because we got illiterate people that don't even understand what the word means. If you look up niggardly in the dictionary, there's Greg Reed and the Beasleys. Their pictures are right next to it. That's what niggardly means. It means so cheap that it's embarrassing. So cheap you have to live in a high-rise in Hallandale. That's right. That's what niggardly is. But, you know, it's like, and you know, we're all been intimidated. You're supposed to keep your mouth shut and don't say this because then it makes you a racist. Bull crap. It just makes you honest. And whether it's the white trash on a Jerry Springer show or it's the black ghettoese mentality that's, with this total irresponsibility of everybody, let's make a whole bunch of babies, even if we ain't got no money coming in. This is a big part of the American effing problem. I'll tell you that right now. But you're not supposed to be saying it because we don't want to offend anyone's sensibilities. And isn't that interesting? Thank God the only person that really talked about this was that black lady that called in. She knows what I'm talking about. She knows it's a bunch of crap. That's why we have all these kids with no parents. I mean, that's the new statistic in America, by the way. Kids with one parent. Not because of a divorce, not because one of them died, but because they only ever had one parent. Like Jodie Foster, for example. There you go. What is that all about? And we're supposed to be happy for her. We're supposed to be thrilled for her. We're supposed to be quelling for her that somehow, some way, she made a baby. I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Jackson's wife is making those babies the same way. Here's a mobile in Hollywood. Hello.
Hello?
Maybe she's got a Teletubby. Yes, sir.
The problem is not only with the Gary Sheffields, as you just mentioned, the problem is all the other fathers who are fathering children and then walking away from the responsibility.
Yeah.
Gary Sheffield, she can get a lawyer to go after him.
And she already
did. He's got
did.
the bucks, exactly, and
right.
He's got the bucks to pay.
Right.
These other guys are fathering the children, walking away, and nobody's making them pay.
You mean
that's what's wrong.
Yeah.
The state's picking up, and we're picking up the problem because nobody's willing.
You know what brings to mind two words that I keep saying on this show for years and years, and everybody just kind of chuckles when I say forced sterilization. Those are the two words that come to my mind.
There's a lot to be said for it.
Right. Okay. Good luck to us, pal. He sounds depressed. Don't be depressed, sir. It's only Tuesday. I'm doing great. Now, what did my doctor say, by the way? Can you interpret it for me? Did he say anything of?
No.
I don't know what he said. I think I told him more than he told me when you come right down to it. Don't you think so? I think I gave him a better 567. He's a good guy, but I'm the expert. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's a lady in Medley. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, how you doing?
Great.
My brother listens to your show every day.
Right.
And I think it's kind of corrupted him.
Why is that?
Well, we can carry a normal conversation, and all of a sudden he'll sit there and say, rectum.
Mm-hmm.
And plus he's having a real fetish about women sitting on his face.
Uh-huh.
Is there anything that you think I could help him do with this problem?
Yeah, go sit on his face. 567-0560 and pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. She sounded like, what's his name's boyfriend? A girlfriend, friend. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Neil, how you doing today?
Okay, sir.
Did you happen to watch the Michigan State game at all this weekend?
No, I did not. No.
So you didn't see the size of Mateen Cleaves' lips?
No.
Okay, just thought I'd throw that out there.
Didn't see it.
Shameless request?
Yes?
Michigan State fight song.
Don't got it. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. 567, got one call left on the board. Could be a short show. We got a short show on Thursday because we got an exhibition Marlin game, 12:50 on Thursday. See, this is what kills me. Remember last week, those people calling in bitching? We had two back-to-back Thursday and Friday. All those people carrying on, oh my God, they're stealing it. You know, and then we are here the full 4 hours yesterday, full 4 hours today if we can make it, and we got no calls. You're like a bunch of spoiled little brats. You don't know what you want. We put on a great exhibition Marlins game there, and nobody in their right mind could possibly listen to that. You don't like that. But I'm here feeding you out some really great stuff here to sink your teeth into. And it's the same lethargic crowd. I'm going to, I guess, have to be the one to whip these bastards back into shape. Or I'll just go out and do we'll just do the show tomorrow from a ball game somewhere. We'll hear the noise in the background. Oh, Jay, just fumbled the ball at third base. There's another error, sloppy play. You know, I mean, what was that going on here yesterday? What is this station thinking about? Are they thinking?
No.
I mean, is it like mandatory? I thought that they used to do all these outside shows because they hated that building over there in Sheridan Street. Now we got these new, somewhat sterile but at least cleaner surroundings, and they still don't want to be in this building. Maybe they're afraid to use that restroom down there since your buddy stole the Lysol. I don't want to mention Josh Friedman, that big, fat, smelly thing. Yeah, fat and smelly. That, you know something? That seems to be the thing here in this place. Fat and smelly. We got Fat Boy, we got, and then we got, what's his name? What do they call that? The wildebeest. Here's Boca. Hello.
Neil?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, Sheffield, he had a quote of the year.
Now, what was that, sir?
Well, he had mentioned that if it wasn't for his contract he had, paying him $12 million a year.
He's an asshole. Yeah.
Since they were talking about him having to shave his mustache,
Shave his private, yeah.
that he was going to retire. If it wasn't for the $12 million a year he was making, and that was the.
And that's another thing with Gary Sheffield, and that is that in every other way, besides fathering all these illegitimate kids, he's also an asshole, and everybody knows that, and always has been.
Yeah.
And they couldn't wait till they could find a way to unload him and his $10 million salary out of here soon enough.
Oh, okay, and Neil, the point that I
why do these people come on the air and these sports writers and they're always sucking up to these guys? What is that about? How can you admire somebody who's such a piece of crap?
Well, I don't think they suck up to Gary anymore.
Oh, sure they do.
And the point that I wanted to ask you before they brought up this last subject, I've been following hockey for like 40 years. When did the room become so important? Where they have someone like Mullen?
That's just another media thing. You know, that's an excuse for a guy who can't play. Right. Oh, but he's good in the room, okay?
What does that mean?
That means he's got a long tongue, I guess. I don't know what that means.
Thanks.
Okay. He's good in the room. Maybe Troy Aikman's good in the room. You know what I'm talking about? We have an open line on the board in case you want to join us, which we doubt. 567. Hey, you know, either way, it makes no difference to me. Yesterday I got psychotic, then I realized that it was the whole goddamn radio station. I do take these things personally. Do you believe me?
No.
No, I don't. It just sounds good.
I like the wee-wee.
Congratulations. Get a life.
And now another exciting offer from Video Treasure Chest. Just in time for the Peanuts Gang's birthday on October 2nd. Did you know that Snoopy used to have genitals? Find out what happened in this Lost television special. It's a Charlie Brown neutering.
What are you doing with that knife, Charlie Brown?
Oh, hi, Lucy. I'm getting ready to fix Snoopy.
Charlie Brown, you're such a blackhead. You have to get a running start.
I do?
Here, you come running up, and at the last minute, I'll pull his penis up out of the way so you can lop off his testicles.
Well, I guess I can trust you. You always pull the football out of the way.
Ready?
Okay, here I come. You didn't pull his penis away!
I only pull away pigskins, not foreskins.
The Missing Peanuts Special, featuring Snoopy's missing genitals. Yours for just $19.95 in local video stores. Video Treasure Chest. We've got rooms of this crap.
2 minutes past noon at 5:60. That's a good question, by the way. If you're Jewish, does your dog have to be circumcised? Why not? See, I don't understand. You got that Jewish accountant, that crazy, crazy David, that lunatic, the Orthodox, he's laying the tefillin, he's wearing the tallis and the yarmulke. I mean, this guy is, Stone Age would be an upgrade for him. That would be an understatement. And yet, you've got the chutzpah. I mean, I realize your own personal situation you couldn't help, but to try to promote this idea of circumcision being barbaric, cleanliness is next to godliness. So don't you understand that?
Yes.
Yeah, if you don't bathe like Fat Boy. Oh, can you imagine? And how about if you are circumcised and you still don't bathe like Josh Friedman? Can you imagine what his must smell like? Right in the middle of lunch you're doing this. Sorry. It's the new Neil Rogers diet. Here's a mobile in the Grove. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I just had a nice Fuddruckers burger. Please keep the Josh Friedman talk down.
Okay, sorry.
Neil, going back to something you said last week, I happened to catch Bo Kemper on the news just a couple of days ago.
Deer in the headlights.
No, you know those big strobe lights?
Did he get over that?
The strobe lights they use like on the battleships?
Yeah.
He looks like he's faced with one of those.
Oh.
And he needs to go see Rick for some extra makeup. He's a little bit
He'll get there. He'll be all right. Give him a little time. Cut him some slack.
Anyway, what do you feel? We're talking about these one
What do
parent,
I feel? Anything I can.
one-parent kids, Neil. What do you feel about all these bulldogs now having artificial insemination or insemination by somebody?
Like Jodie Foster, you mean?
What do you feel? How do you feel about that?
I find that nauseating and grotesque and revolting. What is that all about?
I know somebody that their neighbor.
I mean, do we have a shortage of kids in this country? Do we have a shortage of people in the world? Of course not.
It is. I think it is. I am pretty liberal. I am very liberal. But when it comes to that, I don't know. What's that kid going to grow up to be? I mean, he's got 2 bulldogs for parents. I mean, talk about.
That's a different. I mean, that's a whole different subject. I'm talking about bulldogs actually making babies.
Oh,
I'm not talking about adopting.
Holy crap!
Yeah, okay.
Anyway,
okay, pal. Go. Okay. Maricon. 5670560. You notice in one form or another, it's an omnipresent situation. It really is. It never leaves either the conscious or subconscious of every Julio in South Florida and maybe all over the world. Maricon. It's always in there. It's in their ears. It's in their rectum. It's in every part. It's like in their blood. In fact, if Dr. Mark went to Little Havana and started, no, well, he's got plenty of Julios over there on the beach, and he's probably got some Julio patients. If he takes their blood, he will find Maricon. Somewhere there's probably a blood test to detect it. It's an obsession. It is. It always works its way in. Every single one of these people, I don't want to start sounding like I'm saying, these people, like Ross Perot would say, you people, always works its way in there. 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Even Sammy Sosa, which last year, he's a great guy. I got the story screwed up on that, okay, so you'll have to straighten me out. Because I just saw the ass end of that story the other day about the fact that he's been bowing at these exhibition games and some of the Cub teammates are getting on him about it, and he's starting to act like a kind of a jackass, and also too much of that whatever he was kissing the fingers and greasing it up, whatever he was doing, too much.
Crossing himself.
Yeah, no, not crossing himself, but however he does that, like this, too much of that finger action. I say, other than hockey, and they're right on the edge too, as far as I'm concerned. Other than that, let's disband professional sports for 5 years and see how things go. Wouldn't that be sensational? It's like, I come on here and I'm recommending these different books. How many people read a book? And I wonder, every time you go to Borders, you go into Barnes and Noble, the bookstores are packed. Are those people buying books? No, they're sitting around and they're looking up stuff, reference stuff, whatever. They're freebies. They have those lounge areas. They're drinking a cappuccino. They're reading some freebies. Then they put it back and out they go, or they stick it in their bag and out they go. Because those places are all doing the land office business. I mean, that Borders over by me, the one on Sunrise, packed, always jam-packed, loaded. And I'm wondering, who really reads books besides about 10 of us? Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
How you doing, Neil?
Okay, sir.
Speaking of gays, you know the gay capital of the world is, right? Hialeah.
Yeah.
That's your next remote. Instead of going to the Lipton, you can go to Hialeah.
Westland, yeah.
Yeah, Westland Mountain tea rooms.
And
that's about it, Neil.
Okay. This guy was already on hold, by the way, had no material.
Huh? I don't
know. 56705. Maybe he's in a hurry. Maybe his boyfriend's waiting in there with one. Oh, and by the way, are there glory holes in a women's restroom?
No.
That's an interesting thing. I've never really stopped to think about this. How do glory holes get started? Seriously. Also, now, this is a more reasonable topic. Is there graffiti on the stalls in a ladies' restroom? There is? Women write graffiti?
Sure.
How do you know that? Are you hanging out in the women's tea rooms?
Every chance I get.
No, seriously, is there graffiti in there? I thought that
it's not as filthy
prevalent.
or as prevalent.
Well, what does it say?
Only in the scummier areas.
What does it say?
A lot of penis stuff. A lot of dykey stuff.
Well, most of the graffiti I see in men's tea rooms is penis stuff too. Well, I guess where do you expect to find a penis in the toilet? In the restroom. It makes sense to me. How does somebody go about starting a glory hole? I guess very carefully and very slowly. What do? What kind of do they take an awl? You know what an awl is? A carpenter's awl. What do you take in there? Usually it's pretty heavy wood between those stalls. We're not talking about, a little sheet of plywood. We're talking about a big heavy duty, cedar. Like it says in that thing, cedar box. Right? What kind of wood is that they usually have in there?
Plywood.
No, not, but thick plywood. No, not plywood. It's not plywood in between the stalls and like down in our men's room out here. That's plywood.
Oh, like the Formica stuff?
Yeah.
The duty stuff?
But that's thick
like
stuff.
Particle board with Formica over it.
Yeah, but it's thick.
Sure.
You can't like take a pencil, or like a key and you've got to be, there has to be a lot of work. That's a labor of love. That's got to go in for a long time.
A hole saw would work really well.
Is that with the W? How about a bow saw, like the one that Miss Miglin got her neck cut off with by?
Oh, God, Neil.
Howdy! Hi, I'm Spike, and when I'm driving down Route 9W on a hot summer day, me and the missus always stop at Dickens Fruit Stand. They've got everything from fruit to vegetables, homemade pies, but there is nothing like their cider. Ain't that right, honey? Dickens cider. Yes, sir. Why, even though we were late for church last Sunday, she had to have a little Dickens cider. She says there ain't nothing like it. Even my minister says his wife enjoys a little Dickens cider now and then. Hey, why don't you bring some home in our protective plastic rim bottle? That way it'll stay fresh. Or you can let it sit a while and have some hard Dickens cider. It's good at lunch, good at dinner, and there's nothing like waking up with a Dickens cider. Dickens Fruit Stand, just off Route 9W and Country Road 69. Open 24 hours, because after a chilly summer night, I like to snuggle up in bed with a hot Dickens cider.
Couple 560 WQAM. So George was just asking me, he says, what's a common term that white people use for Brazil nuts? I said, I have no idea. Oh, yeah, I see they're showing and guess what? Our sports department, well, whatever it is, was supposed to help us out with these NHL trades today, the trading deadline. There's nobody over there. That whole side of the building is dark, so to speak. Dark. But a caller claims that Tampa Bay traded Wendell Clark to Detroit for Kevin Hodgson, who was their backup goalie. He's a good goaltender, by the way. Certainly ain't no Corey Slob. Yeah, they're showing a great one on here last night. Big comeback for Gretzky. Every time he plays, the Rangers take a bigger dump, embarrassed by Tampa 6-3 last night. Nice going, guys. 567-0560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. In addition to my advice, that Marzetti's salad dressings, and that is good stuff. Seriously. I'm going to bring some in tomorrow and just eat it right out of the jar. Chunky blue cheese with big chunks, 1 gram for 2 tablespoons. Delicious. In addition to that, here's another recommendation highly for people with diabetes from Dr. Bernstein's book. Oh, by the way, that guy called back yet,
No.
Dr. Bernstein guy? And that is if you're worried about your feet, because when you're diabetic, the 2 things you're most concerned about, your feet and your eyes, okay? Your vision and your feet. Take care of those feet, baby, because when your circulation gets bad, your feet have got psoriasis. And you know what you do with what you massage your feet with? Olive oil. In fact, don't we? What happened to that big jug?
It's right there in the microwave.
Oh, yeah. Now, that's too expensive for me to use that on my feet. Huh? Now, that's real heavy-duty expensive stuff. That Barolio, that, what's his name, brought to us, Sal Falcone? Yeah, but boy, I'd have healthy feet. I'm serious. Smear it all over your feet and on you every night before you go to bed. Olive oil. Olio Oliva. Or just Tony Oliva. Here's a mobile in Hollywood. Hello. Mobile in Hollywood.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, has anyone said anything about these guys that they're wedding, their father and his children, but there's nothing about unprotected sex?
Yeah.
I mean, and not to mention, what's the window for a woman to get pregnant? 3 to 4 days a month?
Sergei Nemchinov goes to Jersey for a 4th-round draft pick. What is it? I'm keeping my eye on these deals here. I got to watch the TV because we don't have any sports department here, and it's a make-believe sports station. Everybody's out to lunch, literally.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just think it's,
Forced sterilization. Then you don't have to worry about protection, sir. You don't have to worry about that. Forced sterilization.
All right, Neil. Thanks.
Okay. You let me go out there around the countryside. I'll pick out the scum. We'll sterilize all of them, and I'll guarantee you, within a matter of years, life in America will be greatly improved. 567-0560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Here's a mobile in Margate. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon, Mr. Rogers.
Yes, sir.
3 comments.
Tell you what, they should give us overtime for this week. I can see this is going to be one bitch of a week. Yes, sir.
Number 1, Marzetti's blue cheese, awesome.
Wow, that is good stuff.
Number 2, I should have been forced sterilized because number 3, my wife and I are just heading home from the hospital. We just had our boy. Ready, Neil? Circumcised.
Yeah.
Just coming home right now.
Great.
Clean one is a healthy one, right?
Exactly.
That's right.
Good work, pal. Keep it up. And the work, too. 5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. That's the only problem in Europe is I'll let foreskin run around loose. That's the problem, especially if it is loose. Ooh, bad news. Here's a mobile in Pompano. Hello.
Hey.
Yes, sir.
Who's that in the studio with you?
Who's what?
Who's that in the studio?
In what studio?
Who's that guy you talking to?
You.
No, I'm talking about the guy in the studio with you.
Meaning what?
Meaning, like, what'd you do? Did you bring back the bird?
Yeah, the bird is in the studio. What do you want? What can we do for you, sir? Where's your materials? You got any?
No,
No. Okay, thank you. 5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. Retard, moron, jackass. All you have to say is, he's an asshole. Here's Palm Beach. Hello.
Uncle Neil, not
Yes,
only
sir.
is the blue cheese excellent, but that Caesar salad also.
Good stuff.
Caesar,
But is it all real low carb though? That's my point.
Well, that's a little higher.
I mean,
in
there's plenty of good, huh?
It's a little higher in carb there.
Well, see, I happen to like blue cheese anyway, so the fact that I got 2 tablespoons, 1 gram, I mean, this is like dying and going to heaven.
Oh, that stuff is delicious.
Give me
I
a
love
nice
it.
shallot, got a big shallot there with a little tuna in it maybe, and a couple of olives and a whole bunch of this stuff in it.
Oh, it's excellent.
Then it's
and
like
a little,
dying and
like
heaven.
radishes?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's funny you mentioned the olive oil, because we've used olive oil for masturbation.
Mm-hmm.
And
probably on
for
your rectum. Yeah, too, yeah. 5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How's it going?
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I'd like to be a volunteer for forced sterilization. We just had 2 callers right there.
Uh-huh.
Sterilized.
Okay.
Anyway, that's
okay,
it.
hold on. He's volunteering. Okay, 1 call left, and look at it. Look where it's from. Not 1 call in Dade, not 1 in Broward, not 1 in Palm Beach, not 1 in Fort Myers. Here's Laguna Hills, California. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How's it going, man?
The worst. This is the worst week of my life, sir. Every moment that I'm sitting here, I wonder if it could be the last.
You were talking about banks before, right?
These are seriously, there must have been some kind of a seismic event that happened in this town, and they forgot to report it because the Oscars were on or something. This week, it's like this whole town has dried up and died. I'm serious, sir.
Let me tell you a story about banks in California. You ever heard of check system?
The what?
Check system?
Which is what?
It's pretty much like a credit reporting deal for banks. Like if you have an NSF or something, whatever.
Right,
they report it.
right.
I had an account that was $86. I paid it off, right? They reported me to check systems. I can't open a bank account anywhere for 5 years. I've seen people on there for $1. They were over $1.
Yeah.
And I got reported. They can't open an account anywhere that uses check.
Well, Vegas ain't that far. I'd move over there.
That's where I'm going next.
Excellent.
Love you, Neil.
Good luck, sir.
Bye.
Okay, here's our last call for callers today. We made it almost till 12:30 today. Yesterday, not even that far. Oh, gee, not another exhibition ball game. Let's put a ball game on, okay? Let's put a ball game on and go to lunch. This crowd, man, you talk about out of material. Just now that I'm getting my energy back, I realize, maybe that's what it is. See, when you feel lethargic, you kind of fit in here, you know? You fit in with the landscape. But when you start feeling like a little bit alive and you look around you and you can smell the death, the decay, the drifters, they drifted in on some kind of a rubber. You got drifters, decadents, drug dealers, and dead people. That's what you got. 5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. The Bernstein guy.
Neil, I don't know. Am I a decadent?
What does that mean, the Bernstein? How many times did I beg you to call? You didn't go see Dr. Bernstein.
Well, I don't just sit and wait for you, you know. Here I am. You got me. He's the greatest.
You called George off the air, and I begged you to go on the air and tell us, and you refused to do it, which, as far as I was concerned, was an act of insolence.
Insolence? That's
I mean, why would you tell us that you're going to go somewhere, and then when you get back, you don't want to talk about it? I don't get it.
The only reason is because I don't think everybody is interested.
Well, not everybody is interested in anything these people are talking about. What is that? I'm interested, okay? I'm interested. Forget about these people. We don't know what they're interested in yet.
Okay, that's all I care about is you anyway.
Well,
I don't
how
care
was
about anybody else. It was wonderful. It was intense. It was 3 full days with this guy, one-on-one. And
I'm not talking about the sexual part. I'm talking about the health part.
That's what I'm talking about,
yeah.
The sensual part. No, I'm just kidding. The guy is amazing. The guy is a...
what did he do for you?
He's a type 1 diabetic, and he's 66 years old. That's
I know
just
that.
unheard of.
Sir, I'm the one that read the book. Remember, I know all about that. What did he do for you?
Put me on insulin. Even though I was making plenty of insulin, he put me on insulin. He took my blood sugars, which are consistently above 350.
350?
Yeah, consistently.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. And now they are. My target is 110 right now. He's got me at 120, 125, 121. And it's a regimen of a bunch of shots every day. Shots when you get up, shots covering every meal, and adjustment shots.
Yeah.
That's basically it. I mean, the guy, I get to eat pretty much what I want, and you watch what you do. The guy's amazing. And I talk to him for 15 minutes once a week. And he makes adjustments to the protocol. But you can't do the fish food thing. You can't cover it.
Of course not.
Well, I know. I love you to death, but I don't think it's the right program for you.
It's not a program. It's called suicide eating that stuff. You can't do that.
I know.
All these people force-feeding you killer carbs, you can't do it. They're morons. They're idiots.
How about the ADA? They're still telling people...
Forget about the ADA. They're murderers. They're lunatics.
They're killers. I know that. Yeah, they're killers. But anyhow, this guy, believe it or not, here's a true story. Do you know Dr. Atkins is a patient of this guy?
Really?
I swear.
How do you like that?
How do you like that? The guy is amazing. He lives in a beautiful home in America.
His diet is almost exactly, only even more restrictive than Atkins as far as carbohydrates. And as you know, he says you never have to eat another piece of fruit in your life. He hasn't eaten a piece of fruit in 20 years.
You don't have
to.
He
says stay away from that fruit.
And no exercise. It's not necessary.
Right.
Yeah, well, look at me.
Okay, well, listen, keep it up.
God bless you.
Okay. See, I'm glad he didn't call before. Well, no, because, his thing is about the insulin shots, which is fine, but it has nothing to do with me. But this guy, it saved his life. And by the way, you're welcome, sir. I saved your life. Guy's blood sugar was running 350. Boy. 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Here's a mobile in Hollywood. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
You know how you usually talk about the illiteracy rate and specific ethnic groups occasionally have a little trouble with the language? It's gotten to the point now where some universities are having to teach speaking across the discipline. Did you catch that piece in the Sun Sentinel yesterday?
No.
They're now saying that mall speak has invaded the schools where people can't speak more than 5 words at a time without saying you know and like and that sort of thing.
That's nothing new. That's older than the hills. That's been going on for 100 years.
Yeah, I know. Well, how about a college teaching speaking across the disciplines? It's getting a little bit difficult. It's getting strange.
Okay. Good luck to you. Get a new phone. Okay, one call left on the board. Okay, what can we play here between now and 2 o'clock? These guys got no material. It's not too bad. Better than the crap you usually put on here. 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. We need to have an investigation. Get Sherlock Holmes on the phone and have him come into town, see what's going on here. There's something really bad. Or maybe it's just this phone system because it's the whole radio station now, by the way. You notice that? Maybe it's our whole phone system. Maybe we've got 1,000 people out there frantically dialing right now trying to call in and they can't get through to QAM. You believe that?
No.
Of course not. Sounds good, though. It's like the guy that called before about Orlando Alzagari, mispronounced, or he made a mistake. I called it the fourth quarter instead of the third period, whatever, and called the station about it. Where are all the billboards? I'm a big believer in honesty, at least to a point. Where are the billboards in this town that say,
I have no life.
Come on. That's what they ought to have, those things on the poles. In fact, you assholes at Channel 4, since you're so worried about all of that crap, why not have big, on all the poles, take away the commercial advertising, and just have a little truth for all the tourists down here. Put up a big sign that says,
I have no life.
As if they haven't found that out already when they've been here more than 5 minutes. Yeah, I called up the station to complain.
Yank it, baby.
The time I always will remember watching that first Baywatch episode. Girls running along the beach, groups bouncing up and down together. Well, that's amusing, but what I like most of all, I like the songs and buxom blondes in strings.
Okay.
I like the songs that show me everything.
Rectum.
I like the songs that go right up the behind.
Oh!
I like the songs, I like the songs. Pamela, your song gets a workout. This got your 2 cheeks to uphold. Oh yes, that Baywatch really pushes up my lever. for an amen. What a sight to behold. I like the thongs and buxom blondes in strings. I like the songs that show me everything.
Unbelievable.
I like the songs that go right up the behind.
Rectum.
I like the songs.
By the way, with Passover approaching, I'm starting a new militant group called JAM, Jews Against Matzah. Huh? No, seriously, let's get rid of that crap, all right? Matzah is garbage. Now, I do like the matzah pizza and did we have the matzah lasagna before? Not. We'll be checking that out. When's he going to have that already? Hopefully in a few days. Come on, Jeff, get with it. Put that bitch down. Come on, get with the program. So I have a fax here that is going to knock your socks off, mister, you especially. It is from a group of, now listen carefully, a group of concerned citizens. Not concerned, concerned citizens, Miami, Florida, with a phone number, no less. And it's written to Univision Network, Attention Administration, with an address in Miami, Administration Office. As a group of concerned Hispanics, oi! We are ashamed about the manner in which Hispanic females are portrayed on the station. Our English-speaking male co-workers constantly describe Channel 23 as the Spanish Playboy Network. We do not understand why your station needs to degrade the Hispanic female in order to obtain high ratings. We feel that you do not have the image of this community in mind when your decisions are solely based on finances and ratings. Is that right?
Yes.
It is a shame that our Spanish-speaking youth have no other choice but to watch this shameful programming, and it is more outrageous when the female youth want to emulate many of your so-called stars. For example, are we to become acquaint? I'm reading this exactly the way it's written, okay? Like illiterate. Are we to become acquaint with other parts of the world or with Vergara's breast and buttocks?
Rectum.
Are we to laugh with the pranks on Lente Loco or O'Dallah's constant sensuous movements at exposure of cleavage? Even Premier Impacto's anchors have changed their wardrobe from traditional business wear to casual sexy wear. All right. We will not even discuss Sábado Gigante, Bienvenidos, Caliente, No Te Duermas, and the list goes on and on. I like Sábado Gigante. Oh, yeah.
They forgot Porcel.
Don't get porky with me, mister. It is very difficult for us as counselors to change the perception of the youth when the number one Spanish-speaking network supports and encourages the exploitation of the female body. Oh! Have we lost our values, our morals, and our commitment to the community for the mighty dollar?
Yes.
I hope this is not true. Desiring you to take action and recommend your so-called stars to begin to cover up a little or schedule these programs at a later time. This is just the beginning of our campaign. We will continue to explore other avenues if we don't see any changes in this matter. Sincerely. Now, for some strange reason, there's no signature on here. It just says a group of concerned citizens. Carbon copy, the FCC, County Commissioners, Channel 51, the Miami Herald, Diario Las Americas, Fidel Castro, and everybody else. Huh? George Rodriguez, Jose Canseco, Pupi Campo, Desi Arnaz, Pancho Gonzalez, Porfirio Rubirosa, Fulgencio Batista, Maricon Grandissimo, and there you go. On and on it goes. How do you like that?
That's the only reason they get those big numbers.
That's the only reason anybody watches that crap up beyond 23 is because they got all that flesh on there. Even I like that Sábado Gigante whenever I pop across it every now and then. That's right.
Squirt.
Pop right across it.
You got to watch Caliente.
Whatever you like, it's on there. They got naked chicks, naked guys, young men. What's wrong with that? It's like MTV's Spring Break all the time. A group of concerned citizens. Are we to become acquaint? Why not become acquaint with English language, okay? Why not get back on a banana boat and stop trying to suppress and repress? This is always what goes on in this town.
Why would they write that in English, by the way?
Why not? Because they're a group of concerned citizens.
I'm sure their executives don't speak in English.
At Univision?
Si.
Por qué? Don't get por qué with me. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello?
Hello, Neil.
Yes?
Hey, Neil, did you see in the paper today about the old geezers going to try and take off the road by having them do eye exams and hearing tests now?
No, I did not see that.
Oh!
Great.
It's in the Herald.
Get their ass off the road now before I leave today for Mommy's house. Get them off the road now. Thanks for the good news, sir. Look at that. 2 calls left on the board after this unbelievable fax. You repressive banana boat people who know nothing about freedom. All those horny young Julios and then others, by the way, that's what they want to see. Don't you get it? Why do you think the only show that ever got a number besides MASH on Whammy was that damn thing out there on the beach, 10s and 9s and 8.5s? That's the only show anybody ever watched. 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir?
I'm wondering, what does explore other avenues mean? Firebombs and intimidation?
Maybe.
Probably.
Who knows? Only the shadow knows. Ask them. Ask the group of concerned citizens.
Well, I always said we should probably just line the Dade-Broward border with explosives and just blast.
And keep you in Dade, right. Okay, 56705. Well, he's in Dade. He's in Miami. 5670560 and pound 560. We're down to our last call. Here's Homestead. Hello.
Hello, man.
Yes, sir.
What's up with them concerned Julios in there, man? What the hell's going on? They think I've been young or something? We like seeing that. Like seeing flesh and ass.
And that's right.
And you know that, dog. You know that.
T and A, B and D.
ABC too.
JAM, ABC.
BICK too.
Right.
Hey, can I put a request, dude?
Maybe.
You remember like all them complaints you used to get of them old people calling you and stuff? Can you play that for me, though?
Can I play that? How about, I listen, the way these phones are going now, I can play every one of them.
Well, go ahead and play them all.
Fill up the whole rest of the show. There you go. God bless you, sir.
Hey, Neil.
And don't forget, forced sterilization. 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. The most bizarre time. I mean, it's been all through the, every kind of machination that's possible on these shows for 23 years in this town. And now all of a sudden we're like, hey, there's something going on. You can smell it. You can feel it. Maybe Jeff High's got something to do with it. Here's a mobile in Palm Beach. Hello.
Hey, Neil, love your show. That fact you got similar to the one you received as far as the airways, WAYS.
Right.
Anyway, just want to comment on one thing. It seems that everyone who is not American always wants to pick on an ethnic group in which they don't belong to. If they would just try and make their ethnic group a little bit better, they could stop being made fun of.
Meaning what?
Meaning that the society we live in is always picking on somebody else.
Why does everybody have to be part of an ethnic group? Why can't we be individuals? Why can't we be people? Why do we have to be professional spics and professional whatever else, okay? What just happened? See, I'm telling you, you can say all you want, all right? There's more. I had one the other day, got cut off in mid-sentence. This guy's on there, all of a sudden, like right in the middle of there's something going on with these phones, okay? I've been doing this 100 years, boys and girls. And anybody that tells me that something ain't being potchkeyed around with on this whole radio station. But hey, don't confuse them because the program director's out to lunch, the engineer's out busy trying to recondition a 500-year-old cart machine with the heads all chewed up. We can't be worried about that stuff. Just all you people out there, buy some advertising, pay your bills. You want to buy some Marlins baseball?
No.
What are you doing? What are you running around for? What was that all about?
A suspicion.
That what?
That somebody's using the shared lines, and guess what?
Somebody is?
Somebody's using the shared line. Because once we pick them up and put them on hold, the light goes out on their phone.
See, what did I tell you when we were downstairs? See, this is what I don't like. Not that we ought to be able to have should have to have our own phone numbers. But people are potching around with a phone in the other room.
One of 3 rooms. They all use, this is 4.
These are the on-the-air lines. Why should they be touching these lines in the other room?
Because the lines are dark and the interns don't know that blah, blah, blah.
Interns? My ass! The interns are effing around with our phone?
Well, they don't know that there are phones.
Seriously, someday, I promise you, someday I'll work on a real radio station again. I'm telling you that right now. I just made up my mind because this is so far from being a real radio station. This is a joke. This is an embarrassment. We're on the air in the middle of a call, and all of a sudden, because we got some 10-year-old kid out there who's a jock sniffer who's farting around with our phones.
It's Dave in Miami town at 560 WQAM.
Yes, sir. With all due respect, I just want to let you know that I was able to make contact with the FCC in Washington, D.C., and they said they're going to send me information in a package. As far as making a formal complaint about the Neil Rogers show and the format, And also was able to contact the Christian Coalition, Ralph Stores, and we might be able to organize a group of people that can call the sponsors and all the spots during the Neil Rogers show and complain and possibly let them know that we will not be shopping in their stores as long as the commercials are being ran during the Neil Rogers show, which is not a show, it's obscene and it's pretty disgusting. Now all this can be avoided if you guys change your format, tone it down, ask that disgusting pig to stop talking about anal sex.
No.
So it's in your hands, sir.
Rectum.
I feel that you guys are toning it down a little bit, then I will probably not go ahead and file a complaint. Otherwise, it's ready to go. Rogers is a pig.
Right. Okay, that sounded like a veiled threat from another good Christian. Concerned Christians, and that was how many months ago, and we're still here. Of course, you notice we suffer from a real shortage of spots. Have you noticed that? 5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. See, I'm personally going to take charge of this phone thing because I want you to stop and think about this. If it's the same phone system we had before, it's the same numbers. Now the whole place has got these numbers, right? But if it's the same system, why would the lines be different up here than they were downstairs?
Because they added more.
Meaning what? What do you mean by that?
Like, you know, when the big telephone room with all the wires, you know.
You don't understand. When they add an extra line, the only thing, it rolls over to another line.
But everything had to be totally
And these you'll notice,
when we
don't,
moved up here.
Well, you listen to me? These don't roll over. I think what we have is like the old choke exchange thing. I think that's what we're dealing with here. No, seriously, it's been like this every day that we've been in this room. Every day. This is the 7th day. We are dealing with the choke exchange. There is something about the whole way that this phone system is set up now. And you sit here when they're out, we see the phone calls they get in the morning show worse than this. Non-existent. And when I'm hearing the Humper yesterday on the air up there in Vieira, and he's saying, anybody interested in anything? I mean, and then they got one mobile guy in there with a bad mobile phone, and he had to go, and that was the end of that. And that was it. For like about 20 minutes. See, and you know something? I'm glad I didn't buy a desk for Nimble Nuts over here down the hall. I'm glad I didn't buy him a desk, because he is a pussy, and he does nothing for us. All of these things are things that he should be involved in. I mean, if you come right down to me and you say, who's running this place? Why are there people sitting around there, people we can't even identify, farting around with our phone, with the on-air phones in the other room? Because nobody is running this joint. They're just a bunch of bodies all over the place. Doing
all of these things.
Right. So what the hell do I need to buy him a goddamn? If he's too much of a pussy to demand his own desk, then let him sit there like he's in kindergarten, which would be a good place for him, by the way. Wimp. See, everything always has to be reduced. You can never discuss with these people anything serious. It's always got to be, you know, with the elbow and joking around. Yeah, I really am honored by the fact that you would think about buying me that. And let's start dealing with some things with like business.
All of these things.
Right. Which I know is not in your vocabulary around here. Here's Hallandale. Hello. Hallandale.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, why don't you talk about the time when you were arrested?
Why don't you talk about the time you were born 200 years ago, you old fart, you disgusting old fossil, you pathetical. Sonny Rosenberg doing a caller. That's what we're reduced to now, okay? You pathetic old piece of crap. Why don't you go up there and have some peas for lunch with my aunt up there in the condo, okay? You pathetic old fossil, you. You're what's wrong with this town, sir. You and your ilk, you're all being put on a bus. We're all sending you to goddamn Venice. And we're not talking Italy. Yeah, let's send the bus east to Venice, Italy. See how that flies. Find a station that's more your liking, okay? Turn on Uncle Mikey tomorrow morning. He's playing music from the 20s, the 1820s. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I interrupted myself before on that. You ought to hear the music he's playing. Oh, my God. I mean, stuff they stopped playing on air. Stuff that makes Perry Como seem like upbeat and current. 5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. Here's a mobile and Kindle. Hello.
How you doing, Neil? What's going on?
Okay, sir.
Question for you. I understand bitch complain, he gets ratings and so forth.
You understand
and,
what?
I understand, your style in the show, you're bitching and complaining, might bring ratings and so forth. I don't mind it most of the time, but let me ask you this.
what real stations have you worked for? I mean, I know you're always bitching about 560, but has there been one before, or is it just they all suck pretty much?
In other words, I just came on the air, been on the air market 23 years. I just started here 14 months ago. Is that the idea?
Have you worked for one before that you actually didn't complain about?
That I didn't. What kind of a phone have you got, sir? Yeah, Okay, here's Fort Lauderdale. See, again, no material, so let's now attack Neil. We got nothing else to say, so let's attack Neil. Fort Lauderdale, hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing? I'm sitting here on my lunch break watching a rapist.
And I got news for you, by the way. IOD had its problems, but it was light years ahead of this place, even when Paxson owned it. But go ahead, sir.
Hey, I'm sitting here watching a rapist talking about how he's got to send troops over to Kosovo.
Yeah, rapist, 567-0560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Neil?
6 seconds of waiting for this caller. We got instant service today. Waiting for some real callers with real brains.
I'm down here in Dade County, Neil. Hello.
And?
Yeah, these people around here, they just don't understand your style. You know, you're doing your thing.
What do you mean they don't understand my style? I've been doing this for 100 years. What, do we have to start explaining like I just came on the air yesterday because we're in a different room or something? What are you people talking about?
Of course
not. What are you talking about?
Your style is your style.
And what are they listening for? If they don't like it, what are they listening for?
Why would anybody listen if they don't like it? I listen
because
to the
they're
show every day.
masochists.
Exactly. I listen every day, and if you say something I don't agree with, it doesn't
And like
change
I
my
said,
life.
every time a substitute for having anything to say about anything is let's attack whoever the host is, okay? And especially Neil because yada yada, fill in the blank. You know what I'm saying? They got no material.
Well,
and they're very irate over the fact that I pointed out that this whole town is run dry. They have nothing going on in their lives because they're here maybe. I don't know. Nothing.
Let them listen to Brooke Daniels in the
There you
afternoon.
go. That's right up there, Ellie. Let them listen to the Battling Brook. That's more right up there, Ellie. Find out how many big stations she's worked on in this market, like Exxon and Mobil.
Neil, can I make one request of you?
Maybe.
Yeah, I haven't heard the Buffalo Bill with the plastic surgery. Could you play that? I haven't heard it in a while.
The what? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He hasn't heard that in a while. Is that sad? Since yesterday, right? Today is Tuesday. Yesterday was Monday. Did we play it yesterday? 567-0560. See, that's the other substitute. When you have no material, if you either attack the host or make a request. That's a substitute for material, for having anything to say about anything. This is South Florida, baby. About anything. This fax that I just read here a few minutes ago, this should have had these phone lines blazing. Did it?
No.
A group of concerned citizens, repressive, banana boat-minded people who believe in censorship and we never met a fascist we didn't like. Boy, here's Plantation. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay.
You're the funniest guy ever. In closing?
Yeah, no call, no material. I'm the funniest guy ever. In closing, something. I think we're gonna have the phone taken out of here. Even if I have to talk 4 hours every day. I was thinking about this yesterday after I left. Seriously. You people are the worst call. I mean, the listeners, I don't know, because I would never call a talk show myself anyway. But you figure in an area of 4.5 million people, and having done this all these years, and having allegedly this big audience, and, once upon a time we actually had people calling who had something to say. But you figure out of 4.5 million people, after all, and why do I even waste my time, like the first 50 minutes this morning, going through all of these things? And remember the very first call I said, well, if I can just change gears for a minute, and I don't even remember what he was talking about, something inane. About the lemon law or something about buying his car with the oil, his Hyundai, his little baby car. Little teeny baby car, Hyundai. I got to, when you can afford to buy a real car, sir, not a Hyundai, call me back and I'll talk to you, okay? I'm not saying a Corvette. I realize we don't want you driving a Corvette. But like a real car, like maybe a Lumina, when you can afford a Lumina. A Celica, we like Toyotas, we like Potemkin. When you afford a real car, call us back, not with your Hyundai. Can you imagine how much it costs to change the oil in a Hyundai? What, about 75 cents? Yeah, that's right. In fact, all you got to do is go down to certain parts of town. You can get, just squeeze somebody's nose. You get enough oil to stick in that piece of crap. I don't want to say what parts of town. Here's a mobile in Pembroke Pines. Hello. Great. 567-0560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. And back at you, and have a nice Pesach. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir?
You got to understand you're dealing with a
moron.
Pretty uneducated populace, which
really?
actually
no.
Which actually brings me to my next point. I wanted to talk about this judge that ruled that the NCAA cannot use minimum test scores on the SAT or the ACT now.
Right.
To allow to screen out certain athletes to go to college. So now all these colleges have to rely on now are their high school grades, which everybody knows that these high school athletes get whatever the coach
right.
gets.
That's right. It's all fixed.
It's pretty incredible.
So why do we have to have an NCAA? Why do we have to keep putting the illiterate people? Why can't we just have a special league, a special division for people who are great athletes but are morons, okay? And pay them like as somewhere between amateurs and professionals, and pay them a few bucks, and then stop lying and stop all the hypocrisy of the NCAA. It's just like the OIC. It's like the Olympic Committee, with all their bribes and bullcrap.
A minor league for all these sports and keep them out of college.
That's right, and you know something, and let's take all those scholarships, those athletic scholarships, and let's make some academic scholarships with young people with a brain. There you go. And send some people to college that might actually do something besides jam a goddamn basketball in a hoop.
Well, the judge's reasoning was that the tests were culturally biased, and therefore, I guess because the test doesn't say,
Just like all them people making illegitimate babies. It's a cultural thing, I know. Okay, thanks for the good news, sir. 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. It's 1256 at QAM.
You bigot, you racist, we hate you. You're telling the truth, goddammit.
Messing with our phones, Dan LaBastard, you jackass.
The Neil Rogers Show on 560 WQAM Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
It's the 1 to 2 hour.
The Herald Conspiracy book here.
Get me a long more towel because I switched my underwear. I knew that this would happen sooner or later. I'd find a remedy to do that, and I know my wife. Why on me, why? I thought wearing boxers was better. But my bald and hair kept sticking together. Ow! 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 Break out a box of Morano. Take the pain of my underwear. I'll have to do a better job of wiping my asshole. For when I get the news down there, next time I'll know to wipe. That part didn't seem right. I thought wearing something was better, but my balls and hair kept sticking together. Ow!
Yeah, so come to find out, Dan LaBastard from the Miami Herald is the one in there who's potchking around with our phone while we're on the air trying to do a goddamn show under desperate situation. Dan LaBastard, that idiot, what's he doing in there?
Estoy estrangulando el pollo para acá.
I believe it. This is the guy, remember, that wrote the most unctuous sports column in the history of this market after the Marlins won the World Series? Remember reading that shortly after we came back on the air. Oh, yeah, well, I'm a Cuban. That's why I was proud. Not because it was the Marlins, not because it was our local team, because Levon won the game and was the MVP, and Levon is Cuban, and they're, oh, I'm Cuban after all. Yeah, we're real impressed. Go eat some, that horse meat. Get off our phone in there, you idiot. Should have known it was some asshole from the Herald. Here's Palm Beach Gardens. Hello. Palm Beach Gardens. Oh, God. Here's a mobile implantation. Hello.
Hey, Neil. How are you?
Okay.
I just wanted to congratulate the Rangers on their outstanding job against the Lightning last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll keep up the work and come down.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 5670560 and pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's a mobile in Pompano. Hello.
Neil,
Yes,
first
sir.
of all, I'm sorry that you're having an awful week.
Yeah.
On behalf of
You sound like part of the problem.
You think so?
Yeah, you sound like one of the Cronuses.
No.
Cornuses.
Actually, I'm laying down taking a nap after the lunch. I'm surprised that nobody has talked about this war that we're about to get into for absolutely no reason at all whatsoever.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And why is that? Because they're slaughtering people, innocent people over there, and we just ought to sit back and watch because they don't affect you? Yeah, let's worry more about baseball games in Cuba. That's what we ought to be talking about. Something really that affects our lives. 5670560 and pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's a mobile in Sebring. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Neil. How are you today?
Okay, sir.
I moved up to Highlands County 5 years ago out of Pompano.
Yeah.
All the people I run into, gentleman that runs a radio station, a little country station in Sebring, whose big claim to fame is he was your old roommate.
My old roommate?
John Meter.
No, he wasn't my roommate.
You say he worked at a little radio station.
Oh, in Ypsilanti. That's right. He was my roommate for about a week, yeah.
He still got the same divot he closed a hairpiece to.
Uh-huh. Yeah, how's Johnny doing?
Good. He's a real gentleman. He's a real sweetheart
He's
of
a good guy, yeah.
Real sweetheart. He speaks highly of you.
I wouldn't say he's a sweetheart, but he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's just, like I said,
He worked in Marshall, Michigan. He was the general manager in Marshall, Michigan at a radio station that doesn't exist anymore, WMRR.
Well, he said the radio station, the office was in an apartment. He said there was a lady upstairs, and you used to love to play the national anthem early in the morning and real loud.
No, we used to, the engineer and I, Harvey Reese, we used to go in there at night and play music. The speakers were on the ceiling, and she lived up above, and we just blasted them speakers. The speakers would be shaking. They'd be, and she would start the vacuum cleaner. She'd start vacuuming. She'd start knocking on the floor with her broom, anything to try to shut us up. It was great.
Yeah,
that's when I started to learn to despise old people when I was in Marshall, Michigan, and I still do.
Well, I had to share that with you. Keep it up.
Say hi to Johnny.
I will.
All right.
Thank you, Bill.
Johnny Meter, there's a good guy. Oh! See, through the years in this business, I met a few good people, 5 or 10, 20. Fine, then I came here to this station. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. We got some jackball from the Herald in there recording a show for ESPN radio that we carry on a weekend. So he comes in here and diddles with our equipment. That's the kind of place this is. This is a stepchild place. Everybody and their brother's got their fingers in this joint. Or their fingers in their
rectum.
Like I said, I'm sure glad I didn't buy him any desk. Is there anybody in charge?
No.
Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Great.
Good. Listen, I called to see if you were giving anything away today.
No.
Hello.
How about dial? Oh, and he's already got the phone turned up. Nice going there, sir. Boy, he's faster than I am for an old fart. He's already got the phone turned up so we can hear the sound of his own crappy voice.
The week Miami died.
Just write it down in your calendars, boys and girls. You think it was the return to spring? It wasn't spring. It was the end of the world as we knew it in this town. This is the week your city, your county, this part of the state, this tip of the peninsula died. And I'm sitting here worried about the goddamn phone. Who the hell am I kidding? 5670560, pound 5. I mean, I could get in a goddamn rubber room somewhere in a straitjacket and get better material. Just mumbling under my breath. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. 9 minutes after 1 at 560 QM. Hank Goldberg from the Lipton. The Lipton! Oh, yeah. Anybody got some iced tea? Yeah, Lipton at 2 o'clock. Then we got the Big Fat Bookster, 6 o'clock. Ed Kaplan tonight at 10. Yeah, I think this could be the last day we take any calls on this show, you know? And please don't tell me that you listen to this show because you want to hear these asshole callers, because I don't believe that anybody's that dumb. Like that last hour we did yesterday? I mean, would anybody want to ever duplicate that again?
No.
In their lives?
No.
All that was a sad commentary on this town. Not on me or on the show, even at the station. Sad. Tragic. Even those cornices. How are the cornices doing, by the way?
Oh!
That's going to be a sitcom on Fox, by the way, the cornices.
Oh!
The American Cheese Council reminds you that everything tastes better with cheese.
I hate broccoli, except when my mom melts cheddar cheese on top. Then I even ask for seconds.
Yes, there's nothing like cheese to make things taste terrific.
I'm a sideshow geek in a circus, and I eat ground glass for a living.
My secret? I top the shards with grated Parmesan. It tastes great, and the cheese helps to absorb the blood. That's right. Nothing tops things off like a big, sweaty glob of cheese.
My husband likes me to, do him, but I hate the taste. So I just wrap it in an individual slice of American cheese. It goes down easy, and that makes it easier to go down.
Cheese makes everything taste better. So remember,
don't forget the cheese.
114 at 560 QM. Here's our last call of the day. It's always fascinating to sit here and watch these plink off like one at a time, like the Plinko game on The Price is Right. And you kind of wonder, are they like dropping off, or are they, maybe somebody got a magic finger somewhere? Now I'm starting to get a little bit paranoid, especially knowing that the Miami Herald has got their finger in it. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil. How
Yes,
are you?
sir. Okay.
I'm a pissed off Cuban after you have read that fact that they have sent you.
Yeah, Cornice.
I tell you,
Cornice. Cornice. You're a Cornice, sir.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. Cornice.
No, I just wanted to
You're
say.
a chronic regular, so you call
50,000.
50,000 times a day, sir. You think I don't know that voice, even with a Julio sound? I know you. 8 million times a day, you and your two little boyfriends, okay? Maricones. They probably have maricones and cheese for lunch every day, especially on Friday. 5670560, pound 560. I mean, you're so distinctive. You stand out in the crowd, like a guy that wears a pink gown to a ball. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T is a I told you right away, Cornice. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello. Mobile in Miami.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
What's up? It's Julio from Columbus High School.
You see?
You know what the problem is this week?
And what is that?
All the Julios are on spring break, and they're out partying all over the world. They can't call you.
We got only 3 Julios that call us, sir. We don't get any Julios.
Only 3?
We got 3 Cornices that call us every day.
Neil, remember when I called you and told you about the little voice box with the little sound?
The what?
The little voice box with the sound. When are we going to do that? With a Rectum, loan me $50, that one?
Okay, 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Speak in English, pal. I have no idea what you're talking about. Here's a mobile in Hollywood. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how are you?
Okay, sir.
Good. Couple questions for you. One,
Yes.
I love listening to your show because I love the venom that comes out of you. There's got to be something about Miami that you like.
Yeah, and?
Anything about Miami that you like?
The weather.
The weather. Okay.
Yeah.
Secondly, I know
What is it that you like about Miami, sir? What do we got going here?
I think
The drugs?
there's a lot to do down here. I'm from Michigan originally, and I
Yeah.
know that everybody and their brother wants to come to vacation down here.
No, they don't. Not anymore. Not if they're smart.
Well, there's a lot to do down here.
Huh?
There is a lot to do down here.
Like what? Like go play
Well,
golf?
in comparison to Littletown, USA, there's a lot of stuff to do down here.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I'm sure you'd agree, wouldn't you?
No, I would not.
Not with that,
One of
huh?
the most boring places I've ever been in my life.
Second question
A
for
place
you.
where old people go out and play golf.
Well, if you enjoy golf, that's a good place for golf then. Second question for you. I know
Yeah.
you can appreciate good food, and I'm trying to find a decent place for lobster in anywhere in Broward County. If you have any suggestions, it'd be greatly appreciated.
A place for lobster in Broward County?
Well, there used to be a good place down 135th and Biscayne, the She Shanty, I remember several years ago.
The She Shanty?
Yeah, the She Shanty. Remember them?
That was a dump. The
Oh,
Sea
wasn't that-
Shanty?
The Sea Shanty wasn't bad for lobster.
That was like right across. Was that where Rocky Graziani's used to be there? It was before your time. It used to be Rocky Graziani's Italian place.
Well, what about up in the Broward area? You know of anything?
Go to Ruth's Chris. Get you a great lobster, great steak.
That's what I wanted to know.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
5 o'clock they'll be open. Tell them I sent you. You get tell them Rimmer's buying. 567. And by the way, where can we get a good cheeseburger? 56705. I'm going to Vegas. Tell me where I get a good meal. Where's a good buffet in Vegas? Where's a good 7-Eleven over there? Where's a good Eckerd's out there? They got Eckerd's out there?
Uh-huh.
Where's a good store? Where's a good Walgreens in Vegas? By the way, whatever happened to all that deal with National? I was talking to Brian in sales this morning. He's a good guy, by the way. There's another one of our good guys. See, we got a few. And he was telling me about wanting to go to Vegas in June. And he said, you go through a travel agent when you do all your traveling, like somebody local here? And I said,
No.
Well, he probably thought I was going to hook him up with Bob Lincoln. And I said,
No.
Oh, you don't want to do that? I do appreciate those books, Bob, and I sure appreciate our good friend Richard getting me on that great airline over to Europe now. But do I want to hook him up with Bob Lincoln to get to Vegas?
No.
No, not after those trips. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
3 things. Number 1, the southbound Palmetto is another mess.
Traffic's backed up. Stay away.
You know what you ought to do? Get out of your car and take a survey. Find out who those assholes are that drive on that Palmetto Expressway. Those people they got to be deported immediately. That's why that road is always a nightmare.
I passed a lady driving 50 miles an hour in the left lane, and she had a French flag for the front license plate.
There you go.
She should only drive home.
There you go.
Number two, I've been calling you for years. Your phones suck. At least half the time you get dropped or something happens. You know, there's some kind of conspiracy going on.
Yeah, there's a problem here. We got a real major problem, and our program director and in fact, our program director keeps trying to call George on his phone in there, and George's phone is broken in there, so the conversations last about 7 seconds, and they keep getting disconnected, and they will not give us stuff in here that works. That's the bottom line. And people wonder, oh, you're bitching. Yeah, because why not give us stuff that works in here?
You are not being paranoid about that. Number three, I'd like to vote for you never taking calls again, including this one.
Okay.
Only one.
Okay. I'm serious. Tomorrow may be the day. Because last week it started. You know, this week, yesterday and today, I mean, you got no material. You know, well, let's attack Neil. You're a racist. You're a Matacon. You're a son of a bitch. You're a no, yeah, and we know all those things. 5670560, pound 560. Like I said before, the facts we got from those concerned citizens about Channel 23, that alone, and what do we get? We get that Cornice on there. That little curse on the human race with his two boyfriends that are sitting there rubbing each other raw. In fact, they got their own power tool. That's how they start those glory holes. They got their own personal power tool that they're drilling with. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
I want to break a major story in your show, your station.
Yeah.
Tony Martin is going to sign with the Dolphins.
Couldn't care less.
Okay. Bye.
Couldn't care less. Nobody cares. How about Tony Marvin from the Arthur Godfrey Show? Is he going to sign with the Dolphins? Then we might care. And by the way, this sports station and Dan LeBastard and all you big sports writers, you big shots, did they ever get the Jimmy Johnson story right?
No.
No. Including all the experts on this station. Did they ever get the fact?
No.
Will they ever get it?
No.
The real story about Wayne and Jimmy?
No.
And that whole deal about how he blackmailed Wayne?
No.
No. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Listen, I just was listening to your show on the radio.
On the pop-up toaster, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to talk about this stupid fax that you got today.
Yeah.
I sincerely doubt that it was from the Latin community because I'm a member of the Latin community, and we've had...
What does that mean, the Latin community?
Well,
what does that
Puerto
mean?
Rican, Cuban, Dominican...
There's no such thing as the Latin community. All the groups you just mentioned hate each other like poison.
Yeah, I know, but there are those of us who don't...
So what does that mean, the Latin community? What does that mean?
People who are Latin. Anyway,
yes.
Latin TV shows showing skin has been going on since, I don't know, Adam and Eve, let's say.
Thank God. And that's the only reason anybody would ever watch, because the acting is so bad, and all of it is so bad, so Bush League done, but nevertheless, people want to see naked flesh, right?
Anyway, I think
like
that these people are like idio
and 11s.
Anglo-feminists who just hate sexuality and things of that nature.
They're what?
I think they're just Anglo-feminists who just hate sexuality.
Anglos, huh?
Well...
So in other words, we don't have any repressive Latins in Dade County? Is that what you're trying to say?
Believe me, I was born from one.
Yes. So what are you saying in the middle of all this double talk? What is it you're saying, sir?
I just think that it was a bunch of people who are not from... who are not Latin.
They are concerned. So that, you're starting to sound like George now, Every time some spick does some aberrant thing, oh no, it must have been, or every time some Cuban does aberrant, oh, it's a Rican, and all this bull crap. Why don't you face it, okay? Why don't you fess up to the fact that you love Batista, you like repression, freedom of speech means only when you believe we can say something, then it's freedom, etc., and so on. Right. Yeah, and 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless lines. Always somebody else. We didn't do it. The dog done it. That Anglo dog done it.
And that guy was a Rican.
No, he was not.
He was talking about
he was Brazilian. He had like a thick tongue. He was Brazilian.
He couldn't say his R's.
He was dressed in drag, like all the Brazilians. Here's a lady mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. I really thought you were going to leave yesterday. You were
I'm not going anywhere. I'm not showing up every day. I take the check. I'm not going anywhere.
I know you were fooling probably, but I was you know, because you're so good, and everybody would miss you.
I'm so good, but the audience is getting worse and worse and
You're
worse.
so mean.
I'm what?
You're so mean to them, though. They're probably afraid to call you.
Am I being mean to you?
No.
Are we having a conversation?
Yeah, but some of them are
please,
cut off so fast.
Let me just say this. Because if they're boring or they're idiotic, I'm not going to keep them on the air.
I know, a lot of them are idiots.
If they got something to say, I'll listen.
But you were the first one that told me about the French Canadians coming down. I couldn't believe they are the worst.
The scum of the earth.
They're so cheap, and their driving is the worst.
Yeah, and all they know is we. That's all they know.
They're in a way they
what
don't
time
care.
of day is it? We. That's all they know.
Yeah, they cut in front of you constantly.
Yeah.
And they drive like, you know.
Why do you think the rest of the country wants to cut Quebec out and just up there in Canada and just set it off into the ocean somewhere?
I know.
Up to the Arctic Circle.
But the Latins, I mean, you know, they really need to start speaking English, don't you
They
think?
need to start getting with the program.
I mean,
stop
why are
trying
they
to
like,
censor everybody and stop listening to all this Castro stuff and worried about are the Orioles going to play a baseball game in Cuba. They ought to start getting with the goddamn program and start assimilating and stop eating all that horse meat and have a great day.
You're like third generation.
Have a great day. I got to go. She wants to start with bilingualism again. See what I mean about the women? You're so mean. No, I'm just tired of hearing that crap. Call up Sandy Payton. She likes that. Ask her how Ann Bishop's doing. Ask her if Ann ever healed up. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. What's that? Oh, well, we know it's not. We know what it isn't.
It's a bunch of CDs, but I don't think they're from
Tracy?
No.
No, I know it's not from them. Huh? Maybe it's something we might want. Maybe it's something we might give away.
No.
No, never again.
That's a video.
Oh, okay. Pornographic, I hope? Oh, maybe it's the people from Concerned Citizens naked. That might be what it is. 1:30 at 560 WQAM. You're not ready for primetime station for the 90s. We got muffled spots. We got spots that are like feeding back through the board because we got 10-year-old kids putting... This is the only place I can imagine in the world where they would buy a piece of equipment like the audio vault. Okay, it's a computer system to play spots on here, to play commercials. And then they put in distorted stuff, and they have 2-year-old kids putting stuff in there who don't know their ass from your armpit, who wouldn't know a board if it was in there, deep in there.
Rectum.
You know. And we're hearing one more. You know what this is like? It's like taking us all the way back to the beginning after I thought they were making a little bit of progress. Remember that, those first weeks? And I'm the only one who seemed to care because these people are either tone deaf or they just don't give a crap. And we had all those muddy carts and muddy this, and we're getting the audio vault. See, if I were Greg Reed, I wouldn't be walking around with my three-piece suit on like a big shot. I'd be walking around like hiding is what I would be doing, which he does a lot anyway. I'd be hiding. I wouldn't want my name associated with this product here. Associated with this swill. I just had our program director come here and stick his head in the cart machine. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello. And it's still in there. Hello. Fort Lauderdale. Going once. Going twice. Better hurry up, right. Better get with it.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just stepped away from the phone.
That's okay. So do we.
Listen, you know about all these guys that keep calling you up about this bridge. I got a little inside information.
About what?
About this bridge tender thing.
Bridge tender, it's older than your grandma.
I know, but I'm telling you, I got a friend of mine that knows that guy that's calling you, and he
isn't calling us. That call was done like 8 years ago, 10 years ago.
No, I'm saying these guys that keep calling up and wanting to hear it.
Yeah.
This guy actually does work at the 17th Street Causeway Bridge, and his story is that he's got like a lawsuit going against you, and that's the reason that you won't play it. Is that true?
He doesn't have any lawsuit against anybody.
There's something that you said about, like, you know...
Wrong. We don't play it because, first of all, this guy isn't a bridge tender, number one. We just call him a bridge tender. That's number one. And number two, get a life. Is that incredible? Yeah, we can't play it. One moment, please. You know how fast we were going. The left turn, no, we're coming to the turn and running. You know how fast we were going. You know I let my time there. Where's that damn cart?
Which one?
It was piled up with the ones on the side. Over by the car machine downstairs.
It might be on the floor there. Which one? Which card?
The bridge tender, the one that had the excerpt where he says, well, I don't know about you, but you sound like, where is that? It had all kinds of X's on. I mean, the label, you could see it from a million miles away. Another great benefit of moving up here to the third floor.
Maybe it fell under the counter down there.
Maybe it fell in Uranus. .133 at 560 WQAM. Here's a mobile in Hialeah. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how's it
going?
going?
I think that this guy, he thought by saying that he was going to get me to play the bridge tender, which I'm not going to play it because we've heard it 8 million times. Nobody wants to hear it. Yes, sir.
I've never heard it, so I couldn't tell you.
Good. You missed nothing.
I got
it's older than Moses.
2 things to ask you.
Yes, sir.
This Kosovo thing, how do you think Saddam's dealing with it?
Number 2?
Number 2, if you don't have any callers, what are you going to have to talk about?
Let me ask you something. Do I have plenty to talk about every day on this show?
Well, the only thing I ever heard you really talking about is people calling and then you bitching at them.
Okay, well, listen tomorrow. Did you hear the first hour? Did I take any calls the first 50 minutes today?
No.
No. See, and again, what are these people listening for? What are they listening for? Here's a mobile in Miami Lakes. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. My son talked me into watching wrestling with him last night, and I thought of you. You know why?
Why is that?
People were holding up signs that said, whatever, Austin this or whatever that. I took him to a wrestling match here at the center about 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Just before they came out or went on the air, of all the signs that they had there, and some of them were pretty nasty, the ones they kept confiscating were the ones calling different wrestlers gay. And I didn't think about it until last night, and I thought, wait a minute, Neil was saying last week that these guys were gay. And that must be why they were confiscating only the signs that said so-and-so is gay or so-and-so is queer or whatever.
Yeah.
So again, Neil is God. He knows it all.
It's a fag thing. Well, anybody that can't tell that when one guy hops on the other one, when a guy gets down on all fours and puts his ass up in the air and the other guy mounts him, I mean, if we have to draw you a diagram, sir, then God help us all.
Maybe because I wasn't and I...
Have your kid take up golf, okay? That's a real manly pursuit, you know? The Scottish invented that, the ones that wear the kilts.
Well, I don't know about you, but you sound like some stupid, idiotic jerk. Stupid, idiotic jerk. Stupid, idiotic jerk. 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 Oh!
So what's his point? Okay, we have an open line in somewhere, 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's a mobile in Vero Beach. Hello.
Hey. Mirage.
What is it?
Mirage.
Mirage what?
You said you wanted a good place to eat in Vegas.
5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T. Oh, God!
I don't know about you.
Yeah, I know. Let's go to Naples. Hello.
What up, Neil?
How you doing, sir?
All right.
I think that caller was a mirage.
That's possible.
Yeah.
I want to talk.
I think this show this week has been a mirage. This has to be a figment of my imagination.
No, thank God it's real, and that's why I'm calling. I want to talk about that butthead that left a message about threatening you with the FCC and all that other crap.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, if you don't like the show, don't listen.
He loves it. He
I
listens
like
every
the
night.
show. I want to listen.
He's squeezing.
I don't want to hear
he's
your
squeezing himself while he's
bullshit.
listening. He's what did he say? Bull crap. He said bull crap. He said bull crap. You couldn't hear it. Well, you could hear it. I don't care. 56705. Well, he just got emotional. 5670560 and pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. He don't want to hear people complaining. Like he said, it's a free country. And of course, that guy happened to be another one of yours, by the way. Oh, he was Colombian, I think. No, we like the Colombians. He was Peruvian. Well, I don't know any Peruvians, so we can't get them pissed off.
Hello, I am a black female American, and I'm calling due to the fact that I am listening to 610 AM currently, and I do not appreciate the comments that are being made referring to black Americans. It is ridiculous that the way they are talking about people on welfare, because there are more white people on welfare in America than blacks. There is more white trash out there. They're not trying to get jobs. They just want to lay around and have babies from black people. And I would appreciate it if you would stop making those horrendous comments, because I am sick and tired of it, and I will call my lawyers.
Yeah. But you ever hear of an Anglo-toe? Let's see, what is this? Stevie Tyler's ex-ways? That's boring. Okay, I'm just looking at some faxes here, seeing if there's anything worthwhile, which I doubt. I was just at Westland, and the Julio's calling you out in full force in the tea rooms, writing phone numbers on the wall and drilling glory holes.
Oh!
All right. It says those Julio boys will stick anything in their mouth.
Oh!
Okay. Yeah, they're busy over there at the Penny's Tea Room. I think that's the one where they're doing most of the business, so I hear.
I want them to give you the real thing here, Neil.
The other night I watched a wrestling match. Two men with sweaty cracks. They would try to grab each other's ass. Alright! Wearing nothing more than a tiny G-strap. But when they rang the bell and the match was over, I couldn't help but notice I had a big boner. I wanna be a wrestler. Okay! And have a man's crotch wrapped around my mouth. I wanna be a wrestler. And feel his fist pushing inside and out. Oh, I admit it seems a little gay. Stick my hand between another man's legs. But when I pull my hand away, I get to smell my fingers. You know that other than some time to train, you don't need to have much of a brain. As long as in the shower after you work out, you don't mind placing someone's balls in your mouth. They know that white meat can be messy and too smelly. That's why they like to rub that KY on their belly.
Okay.
I wanna be a wrestler. Entertaining morons just like you. I wanna be a wrestler. And maybe run for governor too. As long as it attracts the crowd, I don't mind going down, rubbing pinkies in a scissor lock with some clumsy queer.
Rectum. Okay, it's 16. Well, I had my finger on part of it. 16 till 2 at 560 WQAM. So anyway, everybody's very impressed that I have a heads-up display. Right? In my vet, that is. Yeah, Duff said he had one too. I said, how about your car? No, not yet, he said. That was just before he took his head out of my cart machine. But at any rate, yeah, I got a heads-up display in my new Corvette, which, it's okay. The car is great, though. Oh. Greg Nelson at Lou Back Road is God.
Oh!
What a guy, man. And goodbye to FU Bank forever, by the way. That poor Arab over there that got busted with the handcuffs and everything, he's not the only guy that hates those bastards. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
What is wrong with these people?
Meaning what?
They call in with all this crap. They give you a hard time. I used to listen to your show constantly. Now I'm in the office. I come back on the show. You got good stuff.
Yeah.
And then I go to put it on. There's baseball on the last 2 days. What kind of
There was
crap
no baseball
is that?
on. There was no baseball yesterday, sir, and there is no baseball today.
There wasn't baseball on yesterday?
No.
Monday, then.
No, yesterday was Monday.
Yesterday was Monday.
Check the calendar. Last time I checked,
Holy
you're thinking of Thursday and Friday. See, life is passing us by so fast in this town. Thursday and Friday, and guess what? This Thursday again, we got another boring game.
Oh!
That's right, that nobody wants to hear.
Terrible. Anyway, Neil.
Maybe you're thinking that yesterday Hank they sent all the way up there to Vieira to sit there in the middle of that stupid ball game, to do a show from a ball game, and we still don't know what the hell he was doing up there, and neither does he.
No, they got to get the baseball off. You got to have your show constant.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I like it. I like it. In fact, I'm starting to push for 10:50 starts for the ball games.
Yeah, don't let them give you a hard time.
Hey,
You're
screw 'em,
good.
man.
You tell it like it is.
Thursday's
Let it
payday,
roll.
man. That's all I care about. Have a great day. I'll drive out in my brand new vet with my heads-up display. Is that something about Buffalo in that trade they made by any chance? Let's see. Sabres got center Joey Juneau. Now it's Joey Juneau, by the way. Juneau? He used to be Joey Juneau, but now it's Joey Juneau. and a third-round draft pick for the, now who is that? Defenseman Alexei Tezikov? I never heard of him. Did you ever hear of him? Some Ruski. Never heard it. And I watched the Sabres a lot. I never heard, so he must be some flunky and future considerations. And the Red Wings, we already told you, got Wendell Clark and a sixth-round draft pick for 99 for goalie Kevin Hodgson and a 99 second-round pick. That's about it. And Tom Tursky went to, where did he go? Calgary? That was last night. So there you go. Not too exciting so far. Who'd Leafs get anybody yet?
No.
Panthers?
No.
Anybody we care about?
No.
Damn it. Rangers sticking the joint out?
Uh-huh.
You notice how every time Gretzky, they had that horrible streak. Gretzky gets injured, they started playing better. He comes back last night. Tampa blows him out 6-3 right there in Tampa. Oh my God, in front of about 80 interested fans. Here's a lady mobile in Miami Beach. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
First time, long time.
All right.
You are such a hoot, Neil. I love listening to you.
These people think that they're going to disturb my cartwheel. They're dreaming. I'm having a time of my life.
Neil, I have something to tell you that you asked about a long time ago.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember when
No.
we were going to the hockey game and the Jamaicans were having the soccer match?
Oh, do I remember?
Yeah, man.
Oh, do I ever?
And you asked if anyone knew how many Jamaicans there were in the United States.
Yeah, man.
Oh, by the way, it's funny you mention this because we're going to be smoking some good Jamaican weed on the air tomorrow during the show.
But anyways, my point is, I read in the paper, and this was a while ago, so it's probably changed, but that the total population of Jamaica, whatever that is,
200.
One-sixth of them are here.
Oh, my God.
One-sixth of all the Jamaicans in the world are here?
Yes, sir.
Oh, my God. Well, I guess they had to bring a lot more in to keep the weed supply up on South Beach.
Had to do something, Neil.
Yeah, I wonder who they brought in to bring the steroids in.
I don't know, but listen, you're great. Keep it up, okay?
Okay, thanks, sweetheart.
All right.
Okay, and watch out for that jerk pork.
I will.
Okay, see ya. Hey, yeah, jerk pork, man. Jerk chicken, jerk pork, jerk this, jerk off. You know, that's the Jamaicans, man, right?
Yeah, man.
That's the Jamaican effing way. They're okay. They just mind their own business. They leave everybody alone, right? You don't mess with them, they don't mess with you. They're out there doing their thing, just like the Haitians. They're sewing baseballs. Cubans, though, we got a little bit of a problem, don't we, George? Huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a problem. We got some of those old, stuffy right-wingers. You know, they need to go back, straighten everything out down there. You know, bring back Batista, bring back the good old days, bring back Meyer Lansky and all the good casinos down there, Santos Traficante. The hotels here. That's right. They're beautiful. It's 11 before 2 at 560 WQAM.
Stupid, idiotic jerk.
Exactly.